ഫോണിങ് എടുത്ത് ഇതിനകത്തൊന്നില്ല ഇതുവരെ കാണുന്നില്ല ഇല്ലല്ലോ ഉണ്ടോ അത് MVP അല്ലേ അത് KN എന്നാണല്ലോ ആണ് കാത്തു അറിയില്ല ഓക്കെ എങ്ങനെ അതൊന്നും എനിക്കറിയത്തില്ല. യൂട്യൂബ് ലൈവ് 10 മണിക്ക് ഇനി മാത്രം ഹലോ.
ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് പറഞ്ഞോട്ടോ.
Hello, hello. Distinguished guests, faculty members, esteemed scholars and students, welcome all. To commence our program with a prayer, I invite Neeraj KV to the stage.
वेदानादौ व्यभजदमुनिर्द्वीपजो द्वापरान्ते वेदान्तार्थान् व्यवृणुत ततो ब्रह्मसूत्रैर्निगूढान् आजष्टाष्टादशभिरखिलम् लोकवृत्तं पुराणैः एवं प्राजा ऋषिपदजुषामेष मूर्धाभिषिक्तः वेदांगेषु प्रथममकरोत् यास्कनामानियुक्तम् दाक्षीपुत्रो मुनिरविपुनः पाणिनिः शब्दशास्त्रम् यास्कच्छन्दो गतपदजयम् केवलं व्याजचक्षे दाक्षीपुत्रो व्यवृणुतगिरम् वैदिकीं लौकिकीं च यदीया कल्याणी मदि अकरुणं क्रौञ्जहननं न सेहे त्यागं वा जनकतनयायाः पतिकृतं परेषां सन्तापे प्रचुरतरकारुण्यमहिमा कवीनामाद्योऽसौ जयति मधुरैर्वाग्विलसितैः शब्दे वाक्ये पदे वा धनिपदिगदिदं सूरिसंवेद्यसारं तत्त्वं सर्वं सुधीन्द्रो व्यवृणुतविशदं भर्तृपूर्वो हरिर्यः सोऽयं राजन्यचूडामणिरखिलकुधाराध्यराजर्षिवर्यः शब्दज्ञानं समाजे विलसति परमाचार्यपीठाधिरूढः पूर्वं नारायण गुरुवरात् शास्त्रिणोऽध्ययिष्ट पश्चात् अय्याशास्त्रि प्रवर गुरुमुख्याच्च यः पाणिनीयम् तेनोद्गीता परिमितगिरा प्राक्तनानां ऋषीणां वृक्षज्योतिस्थिरतररुचां सुब्बरामेण कीर्ति
We have got two programs today, Pandit Subrama Pattar Endowment Program and K.N. Neelakandan Elayathu Endowment Lecture. Department of Sanskrit, University of Calicut is extremely happy to host these two enriching events on this occasion. Let's begin with a formal welcome note from Professor Dr. N.K. Sundareswaran, faculty member of our department.
ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुः उन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. The dignitaries often on the dais, their colleagues and students, my humble pranams to you all. Friends, we are fortunate to have two scholarly lectures today, two endowment lectures. As you know, the Department of Sanskrit, University of Calicut, is organizing two endowment programs today. One is in honor and memory of great Sanskrit savant, P.S. Subbarama Pattar. And the other one is in honor of Professor K. Neelakantan, who is here on the dais. P.S. Subbarama Pattar was a great Sanskrit scholar. He has written previously in Sanskrit, in simple and chaste Sanskrit, on widely differing topics. And this is the first English study, serious academic study on the celebrated work Dhunyaloka. All his Sanskrit writings have been collected and brought out by the department. The collection is named as Subbaramiyam. And the English study on Dhunyaloka is also brought out. Actually, it was printed long back by the author himself through Mangalodayam Press. We have brought out a reprint of the work, and our volume is titled Reign of Sanskrit Criticism, Reign of Rasa in Sanskrit Criticism. So he was a great savant, and this endowment was inserted in the year 2017. This endowment has got two components. One is endowment lecture, and the other one is donation of Subbarama Pattar Endowment Cash Award to the best outgoing PG student in the department every year. The previous years, scholars of international repute have been invited to deliver the lecture, endowment lecture, Subbarama Pattar Endowment Lecture. Scholars of the rank, Professor Radhavallabha Tripathi, Professor Ashok Kaklukar from the University of British Columbia, Professor Madhav Deshpande from the University of Michigan, Professor Rajaram Shukla, former Vice Chancellor of the Sanskrit University, they have delivered the lecture. This year, we are fortunate to have a senior scholar, a Sanskrit scholar of international repute, Dr. Nagaraja Rao. He is a worthy recipient of Mysore Legacy of Sanskrit Studies. As you know, Mysore has got a long and great tradition of Sanskrit learning. Different marks of Sanskrit studies like research, publication, and Sanskrit tradition. It was represented by scholars like Rudrapattanam Shyamashastri. When I utter this name, many of you may be not knowing. That is R. Shyamashastri, Rudrapattanam Shyamashastri, who published Arthashastra, the celebrated work, Kautilya's Arthashastra. From the first time.
He actually brought it out.
Brought it out. Yes, rediscovered. Rediscovered, brought it out and brought it in print form for the first time.
1909.
Yes, 1909. Only after that, Mahamahopadhyaya Ganapati Shastra, Srimudam commentary was published. And Shama Shastri's real research, genuine research, and his special area of research is not Arthashastra, it is Vedic astronomy, that is not well known. His works like Vedic calendar, they are not well known, but he was more interested in that area, Vedic astronomy. So Nagaraja Rao is a worthy recipient of that great legacy. For a long time, he has been working as Vidwan in the Oriental Research Institute. That is the name now, Oriental Research Institute. In the previous former times, it was known by the name the Government Oriental Library. Dr. Rao is a master of grammar and literary theory. Well trained in both the traditional and modern scholarship. He is a recipient of Certificate of Honor from President of India. He has brought out many significant editions of classical Sanskrit works. The edition of Alankara Sarvaswara Ruhyaka is one of them. And he has made a significant contribution in the field of translation also. Many books have been translated from Kannada to Sanskrit, from Sanskrit to English, Sanskrit to Kannada, and he got Sahitya Academy Award in the year 2006 for his translation of Kannada novel Sartha into English.
No, into
Sanskrit, sorry, into Sanskrit, yes. And his English translation of Sri Tattvanidhi, a voluminous work written by Shamaraj Vodiyar, Krishnaraj Vodiyar, third. It's a voluminous work in 9 volumes. It deals with all the aspects of traditional Indian knowledge. Am I correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
This voluminous work has been translated into English by Dr. Rao.
The first 4 volumes, the other 5 volumes remain to be translated.
Yet remains to be
It
translated.
is Navanidhis. These are to be Navanidhis. Among them, the first 4. Shettinidhi, Vishnu-nidhi, Shivanidhi, Brahmanidhi. Them I have.
And Dr. Rao has been working as a visiting professor in University of Chicago and as a fellow in the University of Jerusalem. My association with, I cannot say association, but my admiration or fascination for his scholarship and beautiful oration started in the year 1990. I happened to hear a lecture, Sanskrit as well as English, the Kalidas Samaraha Ujjain, when I was a student in 1990. I was fascinated deeply by the deep erudition of Dr. Rao and the beautiful and inspiring oration. Since then, I've been a fan of Dr. Rao. And after that, in the year 2003, I presented a paper in the national seminar conducted in the village of birthplace of Panditaraja Jagannatha, a village called Munikhanda, Munganda, in the Rajahmundry district of erstwhile Andhra Pradesh. Then Professor Rao was one of the chief guests and chief resource persons. I still remember the oration, the beautiful speech. After that, actually, he was not at all knowing me. I was from a distance. I was just what do you call admiring. 3-4 months back, we had been together in Bangalore. Purnapatna Vidyapitha and ICTR. They jointly organized a seminar, and I happened to present a paper in the session chaired by Dr. Rao. So I am very happy that I have been instrumental in bringing Dr. Rao to our university. I am very happy, sir. Extremely happy. तेभ्यः यतेभ्यः आचार्येभ्यः प्रहर्ष भरिताक्षरां प्रणति पूर्विकां स्वागत व्यापृति कुसुमांजलि कलिकट विश्वविद्यालयस्थ संस्कृत विभाग पक्षतः सप्रश्रयं समर्पयामि. Friends, the second lecture, and I forgot to say the title of the lecture by Dr. Rao. He is going to talk on the topic Kuntaka's appreciation of Kalidas. It will really be exciting and inspiring to hear him. And sometimes, perhaps, the topic of the second lecture may be more interesting to you all. The second lecture, endowment lecture in honor of Professor Elayathu, is to be delivered by Professor P.B. Venugopala Panikar, well-known linguist, a fellow traveler, a close associate of this department, a good human being. I warmly welcome, extend a warm welcome to Professor K. Neelakandan is here. He is one of my teachers, respected teachers. He has got two roles to be performed today. He is to inaugurate the P.S. Subramanian Endowment Program. He too is well trained in both traditional and modern scholarship. He has got close association with Starbucks. He has been working in different colleges in Tamil Nadu before coming to this department. And he is a scholar having Shastric erudition in the field of, especially in the field of Advaita Vedanta, the ethics of Shankara, studies on Indian philosophy, reflections on the classical Indian thought are some of his research studies, some of his published works. And he will be inaugurating, that is the first role. And the second role is to witness and bless us with his gracious presence during the occasion of endowment lecture to be delivered by Professor Panikar in his honor, in Professor Neelakandan's honor. I extend a warm welcome, sir, to Professor Neelakandan. I extend a formal welcome, not a welcome, to Professor K.K. Abdul Majid, Professor K.K. Abdul Majid, who is heading the department, and of course, welcome to Ms. Akarsha, who has won this year's Endowment Cash Award. Welcome to her family members, and warm welcome to all the colleagues, friends, students, the academic community of this campus. With these words, I would like to stop, but before that, I request Dr. K.K. Abdul Majid to deliver the presidential address and as well as to govern all the proceedings. Thank you all.
Respected dignitaries on the dais and my dear friends and students. It's truly an honor to stand before you today as we gather to celebrate the essence of knowledge and scholarly pursuit through the esteemed Pandit Subramanian Endowment and Professor K. Neelakandan Endowment. Our distinguished speaker, Dr. Nagaraj Rao, a luminacy in Sanskrit grammar and Alankara Shastra, is said to enlighten us on Kundaga's profound appreciation of Kalidasa. His wealth of knowledge is sure to illuminate our minds and deepen our understanding of the difficulties of classical literature, Sanskrit literature. We are privileged to have the esteemed Professor K. Neelakandan Elayathu inaugurating the Pandit Subramanian Endowment. A great scholar of Sanskrit, his presence had unparalleled grace to his occasion. This occasion, we extend our heartfelt congratulations to Ms. Akarsha, the recipient of Pandit Subramanian Endowment Cash Award in this year. Her accomplishments exemplify the excellence we strive for in our department. As we transist the Professor K. Endowment, it is fitting that we pay homage to the legacy of Professor Elayathu himself. His dedication to our department has left an indelible mark. Today, we are fortunately to have Professor T.B. Venugopalan, a distinguished linguist who will delve into the fascinating topic of the evolution of human language. Professor Venugopalan's insight promise to be both enlightenment and thought-provoking. Let us embrace the wealth of knowledge and wisdom that this endowment brings, reinforcing our commitment to academic excellence. I extend my gratitude to all those involved in making this event possible and look forward to the enriching discussions that will undoubtedly unfold. Thank you all. Enjoy this celebration of intellectual curiosity and scholarly achievement. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Now it's our honor to invite Dr. K. Neelakandan Elayathu, sir, whose esteemed presence and scholarly words will formally inaugurate this program.
I'm happy to be associated with this function. Last year also there was this function I could not attend. This time because especially Rao is coming. I don't know him personally, but I want to meet him because he is supposed to be an authority on poetics and grammar. And he has gone to several countries as visiting professor. I want to introduce, already Sundaresh has introduced our chief guest, Professor Rao, and also Venugopala Panikar. And I don't know what to say about which on which he is going to talk. Rao's on Kuntaga. Ever since this department has started in 78, I think Kuntaga was in the syllabus. Because M.S. Menon, the founder of this department, was very particular. He was himself interested in poetics. He was very particular that Kuntaga should be in the syllabus. Because Kuntaga is a lone word, lone voice in the Indian studies. Because after Anandavardhana and before Abhinavagupta, probably this Kuntaga was judged and his popularity was not known to. I entered in other universities also. There was no Kuntaga. Bhagavata Gita is not being taught because its importance was not properly evaluated by scholars. Kuntaga was actually an original thinker. After Anandavardhana, Kuntaga was the greatest, I think, poetician, original thinker, because his Bhagavata Jividam was an epoch making work as a whole, but it was somehow uh, not properly appreciated because of Abhinav Gupta and Mahima Bhatta, etc. And later, the philosophers came, took over the entire charge of this literary interpretation, Dasa interpretation. We have got Abhinav Bharati, then Mahima Bhatta, all those people, and later Bhakti Rasayana, etc. All those people, these philosophers also took charge of, take an interest in the poetics, and because of that, probably this Kundaga's Bhagavad was not properly studied even in the universities. The contribution of Kundaga, as you know, is Vakrata. He says that Vakrata, or what is Vakrata? Vaiditya, Ami Bhanidi. So there is a twist. What is in the conversation and the written language, the prosaic raw material is there, but that is transformed into a beautiful poetry only because some makarada, some twist is there in the language. That twist is the core, the source of poetic charm. That is Kutaga's view. And that is in the entire work of Vakaroti, he has been trying to foreground this aspect of literature. course, Dhvanikara is there. He doesn't deny anything or Dhvani. But he says that Dhvani is also a type of Vakrada. That passion, the entire elements that go to make good poetry has been properly arranged. Something like what Anjarathana is doing from Varna level to the Prabandha level, everything has been checked and analyzed. And where is what is the source of beauty in poetry is ultimately it is the arrangement, the selection, the Prajavati, the creator, the poet himself, he is everything. That is what Vakrada, that is what he wants to emphasize in his talk, in his writings. I think I don't want to say more about these things because already we are going to listen to that talk by Rao. And I also thank all the students, staff of this college, university, for having invited me and given me an opportunity to say a few words to you.
Now I invite the highly respected scholar, Professor H.V. Nagaraj Rao sir, to deliver Pandit Subrama Pattar Endowment Lecture on the topic Kundaga's Appreciation of Kalidasa.
यश्छन्दसां वृषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोभ्योऽध्यमृतात् सम्बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया स्पृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासम् शरीरं मे विचर्षणम् जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्यां भूरि विश्रुवम् ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः श्रुतं मे गोपाय आवहन्ति वितन्वाना कुर्वाणा चिरमात्मनः वासागुंसि मम गावश्च अन्नपाने च सर्वदा ततो मे श्रियमावह हरिः ओम्। मम मनः अतितमां प्रसीदति अस्यां सभायां भवतीः भवतश्च उद्दिश्य भाषितुम्। I am extremely happy to be standing before you and to speak on the subject that is my favorite, the Alankara Shastra, especially about Kalidasa, and also one of the greatest critics that this country has produced, that is Kuntaka. अस्यां सभायां विराजन्ते महानुभावाः श्री सुंदरेश महाभागाः येषां मैत्री माम् अत्र आचकर्षति। तेषां पाण्डित्यम् एकत्र वर्तते, ततोपि अधिकं सर्वेषु जनेषु मित्रत्वम्। एवं मम पार्श्वे उपविष्टाः पणिक्कर महाभागाः तादृशानां पार्श्वे उपवेष्टुमेव आत्मानं धन्यं मन्ये। एवमेव तत्र नीलकण्ठन् महाभागाः विराजन्ते। विद्या ददाति विनयम् इति वाक्यस्य मूर्तिमत् स्वरूपं नीलकण्ठ महाभागाः। तादृशाः महात्मानः अडयार् लैब्ररी इति विश्वप्रसिद्धस्य संस्कृत विद्यालयस्य संशोधनालयस्य अध्यक्षपदम् आरूढाः मादृशम् अत्यन्त सामान्यं मनुष्यमपि कियता गौरवेण कियता सख्येन भाषितवन्तः इति मम मनः अतीव आश्चर्यम् अनुभवति। एवं भवतां च मुखानि दृष्ट्वा अतितमां तुष्यामि। I am an admirer of happy human faces. अत्र मम पुरस्तात् किं विद्यार्थिनः विद्यार्थिन्यश्च उपविष्टाः आपोस्वित् कमलवनानां साक्षात् सरोवरमेव उपविष्टम् इति मम मनः संशयते. I am so happy to be here and to be speaking on one of the subjects that really every Sanskrit student, irrespective of the subject that he is dealing with, one might be studying Vedanta, one might be studying Vyakarana, one might be studying Nyaya. It is a different matter. But for all of us, the great icon is the Kalidasa, the great poet Kalidasa. Kalidasa needs no introduction in this world. Even when we go to the other countries, even there the scholars know about Kalidasa. Probably he lived in the 4th or 5th century AD, and from then onwards his appreciation is growing from day to day. First of all, the greatest writer of Sanskrit prose, Bana, he had started appreciating Kalidasa. In the Harsha Charita, he says, Nirgata Sunavakasya Kalidasasya Suktishu Pritir Madhura Sardrasu Manjarishvi Vajayate Yatha Pushpa Manjarishu Madhurasa Ardrasu Gangana Pritihi Jayate Tatha Kalidasasya Vakshu Sahridayanam Rasikanam Pritihi Jayate. And then in the same time, almost the same time, or a few years earlier, in Karnataka, there was a great poet called Ravi Kirti. He is the author of one of the most important Sanskrit inscriptions in the world. It is located in Aihole, in a place called Aihole. And there, this Jain poet Ravi Kirti has named Kalidasa there. Yena yojina veshma, vivekina jina veshma, savijayate Ravi Kirti, kavitashrita Kalidasa Bharavi Kirti. This Ravi Kirti did not try to build a house for himself, just as we all do. Yena yoji na veshma, sthiramartha vidhau, vivekina jina veshma. He only tried to create, to construct a devalaya for jinas. Jina veshma, savijayatam Ravi Kirti. And he is remembering, he is boasting about himself. This Ravi Kirti is equal to Kalidasa and Bharani. Savijayatam Ravi Kirti, Kavitashrita Kalidasa Bharani Kirti. See the alliteration there, see Yamaka, Ravi Kirti, Bharani Kirti. Thus, from then onwards, up to this day, Kalidasa is being eulogized by one and all. And so, you all know about Kalidasa. Next to him now, we are dealing with a great critic of our country. Please understand, the center of all knowledge, the center of poetry was Kashmir for about 400 years. From the 8th century AD, Up to the end of the 12th century AD, all the great writers, all the great critics came from Kashmir. There was one king called Lalitaditya, and he tried to expand his empire. But later, his grandson Jayasimha thought of another thing. What is the use of extending the borders of a country? We should make our country the center of learning, the center of knowledge. And therefore, he invited all the great pundits from various parts of India to come to Kashmir. Udbhata, such people were invited with the gifts equal to the astronomical numbers, not small numbers. With such great salaries, they were invited. And afterwards, for 4 years, all the great Alankarikas, Anandavardhana, Mammata, Mahima Bhatta, Abhinava Gupta, Ruyaka, all of them were Kashmirians. And this Kuntaka was also from Kashmir. That we know because in the colophons of his works we find Iti Rajanaka Kuntaka Virachite. The title Rajanaka is given only in Kashmir, nowhere else. In Kashmir, Rajanaka Mammata, Rajanaka Anandavardhana, like that. The kings were giving that title, Rajanaka. And therefore, this Kuntaka was also from Kashmir. That Kashmir was called Sharada Desha. Sharada, is the name of Saraswati, one of the great poets of Kashmir. He was called Bilhana. And this Bilhana traveled. This Bilhana traveled all over India. And he was patronized by various kings. And finally, he came and settled in Karnataka. There was the great Chalukya Empire at that time, and Vikramanka was the emperor at that time. He was called Shashtaha Vikramaditya, the sixth Vikramaditya. And this Bilhana came and took the patronage of this Vikramanka. And he wrote the Vikramanka Deva Charita, a Mahakavya, even rivaling Kalidasa's Raghuvamsha. Such a beautiful poem he wrote. And there he says, Sahodara Kunkuma Kesaranam Bhavanti Manye Kavita Vilasa Nasharada Desha Vapaschatesha Drishto Yadanyatra Maya Pranoha. This Sharada Desha Kashmir is there, And this Kashmir, is the only place where poetry can flower. Because it is the sister of saffron. Saffron, as you all know, grows only in Kashmir. So, both saffron and poetry grow only in Kashmir, and therefore they are the brothers. Sahodara Kunkuma Kesarana Bhavanti Manye Kavita Vilasa Na Sharada Desam Apaschetesam Drishto Yadanyatra Maya Prado. Such was Kashmir, and in that Kashmir, in the 10th century AD, this Kuntaka was born and he was brought up. The kings were very generous and they were patronizing all these great scholars. You all know about Anandavardhana, the author of the Dhanyaloka. He was in the court of Avantivarman Muktakanah Shivaswami Kaviranandavardhanah Pratham Ratnakaraschagat Asthane Avantivarmanaha. So in Avantivarman's Asthana, all these great poets were there. Muktakana, Shivaswami, Anandavardhana, Ratnakara. And this Dhvanyaloka was a seminal work. It changed the course of literary criticism in our country. You all know that. Up to Anandavardhana, it was one way. And after Anandavardhana, she was the milestone. And then there was a different direction for the literary criticism in our country. We definitely know that this Kuntaka was after Anandavardhana because he quotes him in his work and he also appreciates him as Purvasurivi, great scholars of the past. This Anandavardhana, Avantivarma's time we definitely know because he is recorded in the Rajatarangini of Kalkana. So it was in the second half of the 9th century that Anandavardhana lived. Therefore, Kuntaka must be after that. And then Mahima Bhatta, who was in the 11th century, he criticizes Kuntaka very vehemently in the Vyakti Viveka. And therefore, we also know that Kuntaka must be before the 11th century. Probably Abhinavagupta was a senior contemporary of Kuntaka. Abhinavagupta does not criticize Kuntaka, even though Kuntaka was not in the Dhvani school of criticism. And later, many points in the Lochana written by Abhinavagupta appear to be taking the clues from Kuntaka's Vakrokti Jivita. Therefore, Kuntaka should have flourished in the second half of the 10th century. That is our conclusion. This is about Kuntaka's life. This Kuntaka has given us this great work called Vakrokti Jivita, and no other work by this author is known to us. Only one work is known to us, this Vakrokti Jivita. In the Vakrokti Jivita, we have wonderful information about poetic criticism. All the previous poeticians of our country, including Anandavardhana, did not have a perfect sense of the criticism of a literary work. You can see Bhamaha, you can see Dandin. What do? They define different alankaras and write their own examples. They give their own examples. Therefore, they are not treating a well-known work of poetry. Even the other alankarikas, like Vamana, who quote from different poets, take a single verse and say, here, this is the defect, or here, this is the alankara. But is it the right way of treating any literary work? If you look at a drama of Kalidasa like the Abhijnana Shakuntala, then you should look at it as a whole piece. It is a work of art. If there is a very good painting, and if you are only talking about the toe of the goddess, then you are not looking at the full idea of that picture. And therefore, if anyone has to make a criticism of a work, then he should look at the whole work as a work of art. That is what is wanted. In Andavardhana, in the fourth Udyota of the Sanyaloka, we have some hints about it. He talks about the rasa, Angi rasa of the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. He concludes that Karuna rasa is the seminal rasa of the Ramayana and Shanta rasa is the main rasa in the Mahabharata. We may agree with him, we may not agree with him, we may disagree with him also. In the Mahabharata, so many books called Parvans, the Bhishma Parvan, the Drona Parvan, the Karna Parvan, Shalya Parvan, Gada Parvan. All these things are only war. The intention of Vyasa seems to be to eulogize the greatness of those fighters. How great an archer was Arjuna. How great a macist was Bhima. In the Gada Yuddha, while you are fighting, do you think that there is a Shanta Rasa? And which of these actual people, which of them are trying to show Shanta Rasa? That is very difficult to think. And therefore, Anandavardhana has tried to tell us when we look at a work, we should understand what rasa the whole work is representing. That is true. But whether we agree with him or not is a different matter. And then we had this Kuntaka who gave us a new idea of Vakrokti. Of all the terms, why did he use the word Vakrokti? You all know that the word Vakra in the ordinary Sanskrit means that which is curved. A curved line is called Vakra Rekha. Sarala Rekha, straight line, Vakra Rekha, curved line. Why did he use the word Vakrokti? Because the word Vakra, according to him, means Ramaniya, that which is beautiful, that which is attractive. Only in that sense the word Vakra is. And this Vakrokti was not his invention. From the first Alankarika Bhamaha, we have this word. Bhamaha clearly says in his Kavyalankara, Saisha sarvatra vakroktihi anayartho vibhavyate yatnosyam kavina karyaha kolankaro anayavina. This is the Vakrokti, that is the life of all poetry. Saisha sarvaiva Vakrokti. Whenever you are writing poetry, you are using Vakrokti. Saisha sarvaiva Vakrokti. Anaya artho vibhavyate. Only by this, even an ordinary thing, you might be describing a big stone. You might be describing just a tree. You might be describing just a river. All those things, vibhavyate. Do you know what is the meaning of the word vibhavyate? It is made into vibhava. Vibhava, anubhavam, vyabhichare, sanyogadrata nishpatti. A thing, an ordinary thing, when described by a poet, becomes vibhava. Visheshena bhavayati. तत्र अतीव सामान्यं वस्तु वर्तते रंगे तादृशं सामान्यं वस्तुपि कविना वर्ण्यमानं नटेन अभिनीयमानं विभावायते अस्माकं रसस्फूर्तेः कारणं भवति तथा कर्तुं Anayartho vibhavyate. It is only on account of vakrokti that an ordinary thing becomes vibhava. Yatnosyam kavina karyaha. Every poet should work for this, to master this technique of vakrokti. Olankaro anayavina. Without this makrokti, without using this atishayokti, without using this lokatikrantatva, it is not possible to write any poetry at all. This was the conclusion of Bhava. At the same time, in Dandin, we have a very important sentence. Vidha bhinnam svabhavokti vakroktischeti vangayam. All literature is of two kinds. One is svabhavokti, another one is vakrokti. When you are describing with realism the world as it is svabhavokti. When you are adding your genius to make that ordinary thing to become extraordinary, you are making it vakrokti. In this way, the whole literature of the world, not only Sanskrit literature, any literature for that matter, becomes special because of vakrokti. Vidha bhinnam svabhavokti vakroktischeti vangaya. This was also indicated by Bharata when he said in a drama, two things should be kept in mind by every dramatist. The first thing is Lokadharmi. The second thing is Natyadharmi. If you completely give up Lokadharmi, if you are away from reality, if it is only your imaginary things, then there is no credibility in it. People do not believe what is going on the stage, and all this is useless, simply out of reality. But if you go on giving everything in reality, in a drama, a person is traveling from Mysore to Calicut. If you go on telling about his travel for 5 hours, 6 hours, then the people will run away, or they may even hit you with rocks and stones. So, if you are a poet, if you are a dramatist, what you should keep in your mind is there must be the mixture of Lokadharmi and Natyadharmi. In Natyadharmi, it is all imagination. You have the king Pururavas, he has to travel to the heaven, to Swarga. It is not possible to show it actually. So there will be some conventions. The king now, Idani Maham Swargam Prayasyami. And then he will be showing like that. And that indication tells the audience that he is traveling to Swarga. That is Natya Dharma. You should know the conventions of the Natya if you have to understand a drama properly, if you have to understand poetry properly. This Natya Dharmi is Vakrokti and Loka Dharmi is Swabhavu. And so, which is more important? That was the question. Equality of both was required. However, Kuntaka, when he is analyzing this, he does not accept Swabhavukti as an Alankara. Yesham Swabhava Eva, Swabhavuktireva Alankara. Tesham Varnaniyam Kim Avashishyate. What remains if the Swabhava of everything is itself is an Alankara? If that is an Alankara, Yesham Swabhavukti Alankara, Tesham Alankaryataya Kimanyar Avashishyate he has. And so he had a different way of looking at the poetry. His description was very great because Anandavardhana, when he gave his Dhvanyaloka, came to the conclusion that Vyangyartha is the Atman of poetry. Saha dhvanihi iti kachyate. It is called dhvani. What is dhvani? Dhvani is Vyangyartha. It is not the denoted meaning called the abhidha, abhidhe. It is not the secondary meaning called lakshanika, that which comes from lakshana. But from a third vyapara of the shabda, we get a special meaning which is called vyangya, and vyangyartha pradhanyam anandavardhanena pratishthapitam. Heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter. So, when a poet is saying something, what is said openly, that is not the real thing. But what he leaves unsaid, but still you understand, that is the real thing. And that is Vyangyartha. Vyangyartha pradhanyam anandavardhanena pratishthapitam. किंतु कुंतकः वदति व्यंग्यार्थो वा वाच्यार्थो वा लक्ष्यार्थो वा काव्ये न मुख्यः। तर्हि कः मुख्यः? कविर्व्यापारः, ध्वनितिरूपः, the function of the poet, kavivyaparaha, that is the real life of poetry. And that 2020 itself is called Vakroti, Ramaniyokti. And therefore, he opened a new avenue for Sanskrit criticism. And his idea has been summarized in a work called Alankara Suthanidhi of Sayana, which is yet unpublished. I will read a few sentences from there. Vaidadhya Bhangi Bhaniti Swabhavam Kuntakobhyadat Vakroktim Bahudha Bhinnam Pradhanyat Kavya Jeevitam Vyapara eva pradhanyam kavyasya pratyapadyata Vyapare eva pradhanyam saha pratyapadyata angikritavaन् Abhidhayaha prakarasya bheda eva alankaraha Abhidhayaha nana prakaraha eva alankaraha iti loke bhanyante Pratiyamanam trividham Vidyamanepi kevalam vyapara rupa bhanitihi kavi samrambha gocharaha. What is the poet trying to do? What does he want to convey? The way he says is more important than what he says. What is important is the form of expression. So, the form of expression is called vakro. Saha vyaparaha, kavi vyaparaha, kavihi katham chintayati. केवलं सहृदयानां दृष्ट्या काव्यस्य रसं कथं गृह्णाति सहृदयः इति सहृदयस्य दृष्ट्या चिन्तयति किन्तु कविः यदा कमपि नूतनं वस्तु उत्पादयति कवेः मनसि कीदृशः व्यापारः जायते इति कुन्तकः अभ्यधात्. This was the greatest contribution of Kuntaka. He looked at poetry from the creativity point of view. How poet creates poetry. How a Sahridaya understands poetry and how he enjoys, that is a different matter. But from the point of view of creation, Kuntaka is thinking. Kuntakastu अलंकार्ययोः शब्दार्थयोः कविकर्म कौशल विच्छित्या भणनं नाम विचित्रैव अभिधा वक्रोक्तिर्नाम तामेव व्यापार रूपां बहुप्रकारं विद्यमानां काव्यस्य जीवितत्वेन उक्तवान्. And so now we know a little about Kuntaka. We know about Kalidasa. Now, how Kalidasa was treated by Kuntaka. What was his idea? That is the great. That is the subject of the talk today. In the Vakrokti Jivita, there are 4 sections, 4 adhyayas. Everywhere, wonderful poetry from ancient poets have been quoted. Among them, the Simha Bhaga, the lion's share, is taken from Kalidasa. Kuntaka has quoted Kalidasa about 80 times in one work. Many poets have been quoted, but the lion's share goes to Kalidasa. How he treats those works, only a few examples can be given to you. There are more than 80 examples, I say. He says, Dvayam gatam sampratishochaniyatam samagama prarthanaya kapalinaha kalachasa kantimati kalavataha tvamasya lokasya cha netra kaumudi. From Kumara Sambhava. You all know that. Parvati is doing her tapas. At that time, in the guise of a brahmacharin, Parameshwara has come and he is talking to her. She has said, or her Sakhi has said, that she is doing the tapas in order to gain Parameshwara as her husband. Therefore, he is showing sympathy. Such a beautiful girl as you. You are like the moonlight for the whole world's eyes. And you are trying to marry that fellow who is called Shambhu. I think 2 things have to be really pitied. One is Kalatasa Kantimati Kalavataha. Chandrasya Eka Kala Parameshwarasya Shirasi Shobhate. Sa Kala Vyartha Jata. एवमेव अस्य लोकस्य नेत्र कौमुदीत्वं तादृशं परमेश्वरं प्राप्तुमिच्छसि तत्र कविः किं वदति द्वयं गतं सम्प्रतिशोचनीयतां समागम प्रार्थनया कपालिनः. कुन्तका says शम्भोः वाचक सहस्र लाभेपि कपालिनः इत्युक्तम्. There are more than 1000 names of Shankara in the Sahasranam. On all of them, Kalidasa has chosen the word Kapali because he is carrying a Kapala which is Jugupsita. The skull of a person he is holding in the hand. And you are trying to marry him of all persons. So, if he had said Samagama Prarthanaya Pinakinaha, the whole beauty of this stanza would be gone. Because Pinakaha Ajagavam, he is holding such a great weapon, and therefore it is right to marry him. But if one is holding just a Bhiksha Patra in the form of a Kapala, and one girl is trying to marry, how can they? And therefore, that is the Sukshma Drishti of Kuntaka, where he finds the greatness of Kalidasa. He takes from the Meghaduta, Bharturmitram Priyam Avidhave Vidhimam Ambuvaham Tat Sandesha Hridaya Nihita Adatam Tvatsanvitam. Your Dvandvani Tvarayati Proshitanam Mandrastigdhaihi Dhvanibhihi Abala Veni Mokshotsuka. When he is addressing the Yakshi, the wife of Yaksha, he is addressing her as Avidhave. What a great expression Kalidasa has given. She was afraid. This Yaksha was separated from her many months ago. She has not heard from him. She does not know whether he is alive or not. So he is addressing, she might be wondering whether he is alive or not, is he dead? At that time he is saying, Avidhave, Sumangali. And therefore she is assured, yes, my husband is alive. I will meet him again. Who is coming? Bhartur Mitram Priyam. Bhartuhu Priyam Mitram. Tat Sandeshat. Hridaya Nihita. Adatam. Dvandvani Tvarayati. Proshitanam Jananam. Ye Janaha Putnim Vihaya. Duram Gataha Te Proshita. Proshita Bhartraka. Iti Shabdaha. तादृशानां महिलानां भर्तॄन् अहं शीघ्रमत्र आगन्तव्यम् इयं सान्त्वनीया इति अहं त्वरयामि कथं त्वरयामि मन्द्रस्निग्धैर्ध्वनिभिः तस्मात् तव विश्वासः मयि भवतु अहं यद् वदामि तत् सत्यं त्वया विश्वसनीयं you should believe me. All these things are expressed so beautifully and every word has been analyzed by Kuntaka in this. But don't think that Kuntaka was a blind appreciator like Vandi Magadas of a poet. They only flatter. Kalidasa was not doing like that. When Kalidasa went wrong, he knew how he should be corrected. You know, he clearly says in this book, one example I will give you. Puram nishadadhipatestadetat yasminmaya maulimanim vihaya jatasu baddhasvarudatsu mantra kaikeyi kama kalitastaveti. This is from the Raghuvamsha. Ravana has been devastated, has been killed. Rama is returning by the Pushpaka Vimana to Ayodhya. On the way, he is describing every place that they had visited earlier. And now it was the place of Guha. And there Rama is telling Sita, Puram Nishadadipatehe tadetat. Nishadadipati Vyadharaja Guha. Yasmin Maya Maulimanim Vihaya Jatasu Baddhasu Sumantraha Arundate. Sumantra could not control his tears. He wept and said, Kaikeyi Kamaha Kalitaha Tvaya. Tvaya iti Kaikeyi Kamaha Kalitastaveti Sumantraha Arudat. Iti Ramaha Vadati. Sita. Rama is telling Sita. And now Kuntaka the critic says it was not for right for Kalidasa to say this. Rama was such a noble king. His qualities, Rama Gunaha, Loke Durlabha, Sada Saha Sarvesham Upakaran Smaratisma. Apakaran Smaratisma. Tadrishaha Rama कैकेयीं प्रति सुमंत्रेण तथा उक्तं स्यात् किंतु तादृशीं वाचं स्वयं स्मरति न केवलं स्मरति तत्र सीतां प्रति एवं वदति इति अतीव अनुचितम् इति कालिदासस्य वाक्येपि अनौचित्यम् उद्भाव्य प्रदर्शयति। तस्य वचनानि श्रूयन्ताम्। अत्र रघुपतेः अनर्घमहापुरुषसम्पदुपेतत्वेन वर्ण्यमानस्य कैकेयी कामा फलितास्तव इत्येवंविध तुच्छतरपदार्थसंस्मरणं तदभिधानं च अत्यन्तम् अनौचित्यमेव आगतम्। There are many occasions, even in Kalidasa, where Kuntaka has pointed out that such things should not have been. There are 80 examples of this kind. Therefore, every student of Alankara who has a desire to write some criticism on any poetry, if you want to write a thesis on any Sanskrit poet, then you should know the way shown by Kuntaka how these things should be criticized, how to appreciate the good things, and how to condemn the wrong things. For both of them, this Kuntaka has a very good example. Yeah, in many places, he also says that this is the way to correctly say these things. How the errors can be rectified, it is also shown by Kuntaka. In the fourth Adhyaya, that is the most important Adhyaya in Kuntaka's Vakrokti, because their criticism of the work as a whole, not only of Kalidasa, but many Sanskrit works, some of them we don't know at all. The ravages of time have completely destroyed those works. Only their quotations in some of the Sarataramas, we know about them. We have lost more than what we have preserved in Sanskrit literature. We can know from Kuntaka those great works and how they should be completely thought about, how we have to understand these things. This is what these things said. And therefore, this Vakrokti Jivika is a mine of many gems. Not only about Kalidasa, about Veni Samhara, about even about Kiratarjuna, many works he has quoted and has given wonderful praise. And I am feeling guilty that I am not able to completely cover what I had brought written in the written form. Anyway, there is another lecture, we have to listen to that also, and therefore, भवद्भ्यः सर्वेभ्यः कर्णद्वय दानाय मम कृतज्ञतां समर्प्य सुब्रह्मण्य भट्टर तादृशं महाविद्वांसं संस्कृतभाषायां कृतभूरि परिश्रमं विरचित नाना काव्यं रचित बहु साहित्यं स नमो वाकं संस्मृत्य अहं विरमामि. नमस्कारः.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable, wonderful, and inspiring lecture. Friends, many of you be very much eager to share your response, clear your doubts, or air your comments on the scholarly talk. Yes, there is a room for that. But before that, let us relish the equally exciting talk on linguistics by a stalwart. Yes, friends, let us move on to Professor K. N. Neelagandan Elayathu lecture. After that, we will have discussions on both the presentations. Dr. K. N. Neelakandan Elayathu is a distinguished modern scholar of Advaita Vedanta who has a firm foundation in traditional learning. Following his retirement from our department, he served the Adayar Library and Research Institute, assuming the distinguished role of honorary director. He also served various universities such as SSUS Kaladi, University of Kerala, as syndicate member, visiting professor, and dean. This esteemed endowment program was established by his dedicated students as a long lasting tribute to his contributions upon his retirement. This year, Professor Venugopala Panikar, who is a renowned linguist, retired professor from Department of Malayalam, University of Calicut, and a close associate of our department, is delivering the K. N. Neelakandan Elayathu Endowment Lecture. I request Professor Venugopala Panikar sir to deliver the lecture on evolution of human language.
On the outset, I thank the authorities for inviting me to deliver this lecture. This topic was suggested by me that when I started reading on this topic, I was really wonderstruck. Ever so many papers have been written on this topic. My knowledge of this is comparatively very little. I've written down a little bit, but before going into what I have written down, I will try to explain the basic or the key words, evolution and human language. Evolution literally means, or one of its literal meaning, is changing for the better. Are we to assume that we, the human beings, have changed for the better? From, for example, right from amoeba. Did you ask amoeba what has happened with you or what happened with it? We assume that evolution, we have evolved into human beings. This is the basic assumption of organic evolution. In organic evolution, others talk about, Darwin himself talks about natural selection and survival of the fittest. These are the key words. We survive because we are fit to survive and we have adapted to the situation in such a way that we have survived. And our survival is for the better. We are developing for the better. Evolution is development, changing for the better. We have changed for the better. And the second part is human language. We know that there are other ways of communication. Any of the five senses, പഞ്ചേന്ദ്രിയങ്ങളുടെ അഞ്ച് പ്രവർത്തികൾ ഉപയോഗിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് communication സാധിക്കും. And different animals have done it. Whether it is sensation of touch, sensation of vision, or hearing, anything, any of the form. And it so happens that we are communicating with the sound that we produce from the so-called speech organs. They are also specialized. They are also special. They are, in fact, there is nothing separately for speech. A part of the alimentary canal, a part of our respiratory system are specialized for speech. And with this speech, we communicate between others. And this kind of articulated or unarticulated sounds are used by so many other living organisms, not only by human beings. What is the basic difference between the so-called animal or bird communication and the human communication is our basic issue. Can anybody understand? Any answer for this question? How are human communication system basically different from the non-human communication? As early as 1960, uh, yeah. Other than that is secondary maybe. Basically, there are so many tribes who don't know how to read and write. They don't care for reading and writing. So that is not the basic thing. Okay. Another thing, another answer, or probably a better answer, best answer, languages. Every human language has a grammar of its own. Probably the word grammar in the Western tradition is not rich enough. Probably the better word is the Tamil word Ilakkanam. Every human communication system, every human language has a lectionum of its own, has a distinctive feature of its own, distinguishable, uh, analyzable features. They are analyzable and understandable. That's why we call it Vyagaranam. Vyagaranam is basically analysis. What do we analyze? We analyze the distinct feature of each language. We analyze the lexion of language. So, from Tamil source as well as from Sanskrit source, we reach an answer, or better an answer than the etymology of the word grammar. Grammar means the writing system. It was a guide for composition.
That's why originally says
Yeah, Lakshana Vyagaranam. So the very word Lakshanam is made use of Patanjali and which is copied by or taken up, adapted by, not copied, adapted by Tamil grammatical. Well, if you say that, what exactly is grammar? Are we going to say that a tribal language, for example, has a grammar of its own? Say, for example, a language which has only stems, no suffixes. Do that language has a grammar of its own? Is that not a pertinent question? If you assume that grammar is the basic feature of human language, instead of calling human language Homo sapiens or Homo erectus, you can call a human being as Homo grammaticus. Humans, human beings are those organisms in the world who are grammatically determined beings. That is because, as the story goes in Mahabhashya once again, Brihaspati and Indra were sitting together, and Brihaspati was trying to teach uh, the correct forms of Sanskrit language, for that matter. Each and every word, declension and conjugation of each and every noun and verb was taught to Indra. They stood together not only for a few hours, they stood together for Divya Varsha Sahasram. Not Varsha Sahasram, Divya Varsha Sahasram. And Naja Andam Jagama. എന്നിട്ട് ഒരു അന്തവും കുന്തവും ഉണ്ടായില്ല. What does that mean? That means, then the student said, dear teacher, this is not the way to teach grammar. You have to search for the like paradigms. Deva Shabda has certain commonalities with Bala Shabda. So all are put together all Agarantas. But Nara Shabda has some other formation because it's not Balena, it's not like Balena, it's not like Devena, it's Narena. So you have to search for certain internal Sandhi rules also. You form those Sandhi rules. You form those regularity of those. You search for regularity. Regularity and limited number of rules which can generate unlimited number of results. So every stem can have, certain number of suffixes. Rasa, vilasa, vilona, kadadam, varare, manoram, rupam. Prakriti, pratyegam, rupika, something. So,
This verse has been given as Nandi Sloka for a grammar of Prakriya Sarvasya. Prakriti Shakti Pratyegam Gopika Susampadaya.
so so this a stem can generate by adding suffixes. Ever so many forms. So ever so many stems are there. Probably a limited number of stems in a language. So dictionary probably is limited. Lexicon in a language is limited. And the result of grammatical operation is unlimited. For from finite means you produce infinite result. This is grammar. You learn that, not exactly sentences fit for certain environment. That's what the parents do. They speak correct sentences, fit for certain environments. Then only correct those sentences, only limited number of sentences. The when you say that you understand a language, you assume that you understand the grammar, whether you like to admit or not. There are so many scholars in Malayalam literature who claim that they are ignorant of grammar. They are ignorant of the fact that they are not ignorant of the grammar. They are aware of the grammar. They do the grammar. They do the business only by basing on the grammar. Every tribal language or any language for that matter, any particular dialect for that matter has a structure of its own. Structure is nothing other than grammar. Grammar, the structure can be analyzed, so it can be called a grammar. The structure has a distinguishable feature which makes it different from other languages. So it has a lexicon. The lexicon can be analyzed. So lexicon is Vyakaranam. So having a grammar is a basic feature of human communication. Problem now reduces to this: how the non-structural or non-grammatical system of communication, whether it is 1,000 or 12,000 different calls of a bird or a monkey for that matter, they are limited. The human language is unlimited. You are producing the result from finite means, and the results are infinite. From finality to infiniteness is the path of grammar. This is exactly what grammar. The limited things are there in the dictionary. Unlimited things are there in the results of the grammar. But you have only finite rules. Grammars, whether it is complete or not, they can have only finite rules. The thirds your grammar. The thirds is your grammar. Uh, the less rules the grammar has. That's exactly why Panini is very terse. Panini is very handful. It contains only handful of rules compared to other grammatical traditions. So this is exactly what happens in the case of human language. The question now reduces to this: how the not exactly ungrammatical, non-grammatical tradition, non-grammatical way of communication became grammatical way of communication. That's the basic question that we can raise about these things. But what has it happened? What is it? What is it that has happened? In order to understand what grammaticality is, we can start from a very small semiotic example from semiotics. Here's an example in traffic signals. Traffic signals, we have three signals, three colors: green, yellow, and red. They mean differently. So they are mono, uh, like dictionary. The traffic signal is made up of one image, one and single color. This is the situation in traffic in the language called traffic signal. It doesn't have a grammar of its own. It has a dictionary of its own. Traffic language within quotation of traffic itself, traffic signal system has a grammar, doesn't have a grammar. It has a dictionary. It has a dictionary of 3 entries, and each entry comprises of a single color unit. Is it clear? Now, suppose we are making words out of that for communication using these colors. Let's say in the first slot we can have any of the 3. In the second slot also we can have any of the 3. And the third slot also we can have any of the 3. But by this simple rule, we can generate 27 different words, 27 different dimensions of these 3 words, 3 colors. This is how the uh, non-grammatical system gains grammaticality. The basic question now is how we develop grammaticality. That's the problem. And there are so many studies where uh, some some kind of apes develop some kind of grammar, not exactly complete grammar. It is very slow process. The evolution theory uh, does not at all break in the case of grammar, in the case of human communication. Evolution theory as such has certain gaps, certain missing links. And in the case of grammar also, there may be so many missing links.
What do you mean by the word evolution theory?
Evolution, organic evolution, organic evolution. Darwin himself has said, on the outset, we may feel that language stands in the way of evolution hypothesis. Should the language stand at all? Can we have experiments in future where the evolution of the language itself could be explained from the point of view of the main evolution hypothesis? In this introduction, I will read out a little bit what I have written. But if you
Have you written in English or Malayalam?
I have written in English.
In between, please give the gist in Malayalam so that
വായിച്ചതിന് ശേഷം പറയാം. മനസ്സിലാവുമല്ലോ മലയാളം
മനസ്സിലാവും.
സാരമില്ല, അത് മതി, അതല്ല. അല്ല, മലയാളമാണ് എനിക്ക് സന്തോഷം. പക്ഷേ ബിക്കോസ് ഓഫ്
yes, most of the
yeah.
well, it doesn't matter. Use it for this.
Yeah. In 19th century of Common Era and early decades of 20th century, various hypotheses were put forward about the origin of human language. None of them could be proved beyond doubt. At one stage in the academic community, academic bodies like learned bodies like French Institute of Linguistics, the very discussion of the topic was prohibited. Thus, the theories like the initiation of noises, the bow-wow theory, or the natural sound producing responses, the ding-dong theory, or the violent exclamation, the poo-poo theory, were all buried deep. Still, while the scholars engaged in the scientific inquiry of human nature could not refrain from thinking about this species-specific. This is species-specific, specific human species-specific feature, the acquisition of human language within the general biological theory of evolution. Language is acquired, not exactly learned. The children acquire the language. The basic first language is acquired. The second languages are learned. Probably in the same, very similar way of acquisition. The conclusion we reach may not still help us to propose a satisfactory theory of language, theory of the evolution of language. Darwin's Origin of Species in 1859 encouraged scholars to think about the natural law which gave birth to all forms and functions of the so-called higher animals like human beings. Darwin emphasized that the faculty of the language and its articulated expression, that is speech, do not necessarily give or offer any objection to the conclusion that human beings have developed from some lower forms. P. Bronga's area of the left hemisphere, in 1863, observed that patients with the damage on the third frontal convulsions of the left central hemisphere, ഇവിടെ ചില ചുളിവുകളായിട്ടാണ് തലയിൽ ആ ചുളിവുകളെയാണ് convolutions എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. And the damage to that part of the body, part of the brain, cerebral hemisphere, suffered serious linguistic inability. This area was then identified as the seat of articulation, not seat of language, seat of articulation. Where exactly the language is based is a different question. Now, the strict location has become controversial now because certain people who have damage on this part develop speech at a later stage using other part of the brain. So, this need not necessarily be the only place where the speech is located. All the synchronic or diachronic data available to us show that the ancient languages are highly evolved. They are not less evolved. So, for example, Sanskrit is highly evolved. Latin is highly evolved. Ancient Arabic is highly evolved. And they are efficient also in their own way. Not the efficiency that you want now, but the efficiency that they required then. And they can be adopted to the modern situation also. The classical languages were rejuvenated and made into a modern language. This has happened in the, with regards to Hebrew language. Hebrew was a kind of dead language. It was used only for scholarly discourse, especially of religion. And in as late as 1900 or so, somebody began to teach his children Hebrew language. And Hebrew became the mother tongue of those children.
Rejuvenating or revamping?
Rejuvenating in a way, because it was already not completely dead, but not very efficient, not efficient in the modern sense. So Hebrew was given a new life, and Hebrew became modern Hebrew and changed also from classical Hebrew. Now you will have to learn classical Hebrew separately.
What's the thing is happening? Yes, so Sanskrit.
Yeah, there are trials whether it is succeeded or not. But it is possible. It is possible. Not that it is required. It's definitely possible. But that modern Sanskrit will definitely be different from the classical Sanskrit because of the situation. Okay. Similarly, no primitive language exists among the less civilized, so-called less civilized tribe either. They are not primitive at all. The primitive people may have languages which are not at all primitive. Database available to us shows that all human natural languages are equally efficient and potentially capable of receiving plant development. It so happens that certain languages are lacking plant development, but potentially every language can be developed with plant. Complex languages are made use of by technologically less developed societies as well. No connection can be established between pre-humans and the reconstructible proto-languages also. You can reconstruct proto-Indo-European to a certain extent. It has nothing to do with the primitive people there. So reconstructible proto-language, these are all standing in the way of thinking about the evolution. No evidence is available for the development of grammar for a non-grammatical way of communication. Homo sapiens can be termed as Homo eloquens, and Homo eloquens definitely are Homo grammatic, as I told you. Human languages is fundamentally different from animal ways of communication. And human language is structured as a grammar of its own, a technique by which making use of finite items, finite rules, infinite results are achieved. പരിമിത സംഖ്യം പ്രകൃതികളും പ്രത്യയങ്ങളുമേ ഉള്ളൂ ഒരു ഭാഷയിലും. അത് തത്സര പ്രത്യയങ്ങളാകാം. തത്സര പ്രത്യയങ്ങൾ ഏതിനോടൊക്കെ ചേരുന്നുള്ളതിനെ പറ്റി നമുക്ക് കൃത്യമായിട്ട് അറിഞ്ഞുകൂടാ. വ്യാകരണത്തെ പോലെ സാമാന്യവൽക്കരിക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് തത്സര മുഖനാണ് വ്യാകരണം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. വ്യാകരണം മുഖൻ വിളിക്കുന്നത് വേറെ. മറ്റൊന്ന് തത്സര എന്നുള്ളത് വ്യാകരണത്തിന്റെ വിഷയമല്ല, പിന്നെ എന്തിന്റെ വിഷയമാണ് എഴുതുന്നത്? തത്സരം നിയമങ്ങളിലുള്ളതാണെങ്കിലും തത്സരം എന്തിന്റെ വിഷയമാണ്? തത്സരം ഭാഗികമായി നിഘണ്ടുവിന്റെയും കൂടി വിഷയമാണ്. തത്സരത്തിന്റെ അർത്ഥം എന്താണ്, കൃത്തിന്റെ അർത്ഥം എന്താണ് എന്നതുപോലും നിഘണ്ടുവാണ് നിശ്ചയിക്കുന്നത്. തുപ്പുന്നത് തുപ്പൽ, പക്ഷെ എല്ലാ പാത്രത്തിൽ നിന്നും അങ്ങനെ അൽ ചേർത്ത് ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. വരൽ, പോകൽ ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടാക്കാം. പക്ഷെ തുപ്പിയത് എന്തോ എന്ന കാരകത്താണ് തുപ്പൽ, അല്ലാതെ ഇരിക്കൽ പോലെ കിടക്കൽ പോലെയല്ല. വിരിപ്പ് എന്നുള്ളത് കിടപ്പ് പോലെയല്ല. അതുകൊണ്ട് കൃതജ്ഞത മാസങ്ങളൊക്കെ നിഘണ്ടുവിന്റെയും കൂടി വിഷയമാണ്, വ്യാകരണത്തിന് മാത്രം വിഷയമാണ്. വ്യാകരണത്തിന്റെ വിഷയം എന്താണ്, നിഘണ്ടുവിന്റെ വിഷയം എന്താണെന്ന് വേർതിരിച്ച് മനസ്സിലാക്കേണ്ടതാണ്. നിഘണ്ടുവിന്റെ വിഷയമാണ് നമുക്ക് തോന്നുന്നത്, ചിലപ്പോൾ വ്യാകരണത്തിന്റെ വിഷയമായി മാറി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞേക്കാം. ഉദാഹരണങ്ങൾ മലയാള വ്യാകരണ ചരിത്രത്തിൽ പലതുമുണ്ട്. ഇപ്പോ അവന് എന്ന് വരും, പക്ഷെ അവൾക്ക് എന്നേ വരുള്ളൂ. ഒന്നുകൊണ്ട് കുവക നുവക എന്ന രണ്ട് വിഭാഗം നാമങ്ങളുണ്ട് മലയാളത്തിൽ എന്നാണ് ഒരു കാലത്ത് നിഘണ്ടുകാരന്മാർ, പാശ്ചാത്യരായ നിഘണ്ടുകാരന്മാർ വിചാരിച്ചിരുന്നത്. അവൻ എന്നുള്ളതിന് അവൻ, രാമൻ എന്നുള്ളതിന് രാമനൻ, പക്ഷെ സീത എന്നുള്ളതിന് സീതയ്ക്ക്. അപ്പൊ കുവക നുവക രണ്ട് വകുപ്പുണ്ട്. അത് നിഘണ്ടു വിഷയമാണ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് നിഘണ്ടുവിൽ ലിസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുകയും ചെയ്തു. കുറെ കാലം കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോ മലയാളികൾ വ്യാകരണം എഴുതാൻ തുടങ്ങിയപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലായി രാമൻ എന്നുള്ളത് അന്ന് അവസാനിക്കുന്നതുകൊണ്ടാണ് രാമനെ എന്നും രാമൻ വരുന്നത്. സീത എന്നുള്ളത് അന്ന് അവസാനിക്കുന്നില്ല, അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് വരുന്നത്. ഇടനില വരികയോ അഞ്ചില്ല പ്രത്യേകമൊക്കെ അവസാനിച്ച് ചെയ്താല് രാമനും വരുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ നിഘണ്ടു വിഷയമായിരുന്നത് വ്യാകരണ വിഷയമായി. മാത്രമല്ല ലളിതമായ വ്യാകരണ വിഷയമാണ്. എന്നുവെച്ചാൽ വർണ്ണം കൊണ്ട് മാത്രം നിശ്ചയിക്കേണ്ട ഒരു സംഖ്യ വിഷയം മാത്രമായി തീർന്നു എന്നാണ് അർത്ഥം. അങ്ങനെ what to put in a grammar and what to put in a lexicon ഇത് വേറെ പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട വിഷയമാണ്. ഇരിക്കട്ടെ, ഏതായാലും ഗ്രാമറിൽ ഫൈനൈറ്റ് റിസൾട്ട് ഉണ്ടാകാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ, ഫൈനൈറ്റ് റൂൾസ് ഉണ്ടാകാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. പക്ഷെ റിസൾട്ട് ഇരിക്കാനേ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. കാരണം വ്യാകരണം അനുവദിക്കുന്ന കുറെ വാക്യങ്ങൾ പഠിച്ചു വയ്ക്കുകയല്ല നാം ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തത്തമൊഴി അല്ല നമ്മള്. തത്തമൊഴി എന്നൊക്കെ സ്ത്രീകളെ പറയാമെങ്കിലും വാസ്തവത്തിൽ ഒരാളും തത്തമൊഴിയല്ല, തത്തയുടെ മൊഴിയല്ല മലയാള ഭാഷയിൽ പറയുന്നത്. The animal languages are known as non-structured, have lexicons, be it at 10,000 different calls having different meanings. Not that they are not different, they are different, they are efficient. Some of the bees can show in how distant is the source for honey, how much honey is available. Yeah, even to that extent, quantity also. That is what scientists have found out recently, relatively recently. Scientists of American had a paper on that. But in spite of this efficiency, it has only that much situation, and it is not displaced also. This has happened yesterday, you can't say that. This is happening now. They have only presence. These 10,000 different calls with different meanings. Putting together a few calls in some peculiar order, if a particular animal or bird is able to permute a few words meaning differently to one another, that system is richer in that sense. That system has an elementary grammar of its own. No argument is raised to ascertain that animal languages are neither informative nor is it communicative. They are informative, they are communicative. In spite of that, they are not as rich as human language in the sense that they don't have the grammar of its
They are
own.
not as
Rich. It is known that hermit crab respond to different types of visual signals. Visual signals are found in in many kinds of fish also. Acoustic signals are also common, like the mating bird. Swaravartim prabhugadayam abhautam skogadasya. The mating birds have different types of sounds. Various messages are sent by changing pitch and amplitude. Not only the quality of sound, but the quality of the amplitude and
difference.
ആഭ്യന്തര പ്രവൃത്തി കൊണ്ട് ആഭ്യന്തര പ്രയത്നം കൊണ്ട് മാത്രമല്ല ബാഹ്യ പ്രയത്നം കൊണ്ട് തിരിച്ചറിയാം. Primates make more specific audible signals, human-like apes. Some monkeys have 6 clear alarm calls, each different from others. Each of them to denote a different set of predators, like leopards. The sound they make when they see a leopard is different from the sound that the monkeys make when they see snakes, when they see eagles. Chemical signal is also not uncommon. Ants communicate the availability of different types of food items by different scents produced from their body. Scientists have discovered tactile signals as well. Bees, for example, signal direction of food and at times quantity of the food also. The most striking difference between animal language and human language is the nature of the former. The animal communication are in a way are more rigid, more stereotyped, and under the control of specific external circumstances, not displaced from the circumstances. You can lie in human language. Animals, nobody may try to lie, but they are not efficient liars. Monkeys and apes have vocalization with more flexible and variations in acoustic parameters.
So shall I interrupt? Do you mean to say that there is no Anaptavakya in animals language? Aptavakya and Anaptavakya. Only two things are replicated. No right.
Yeah. No, probably even dogs try to lie. Yeah. എന്താ വെച്ചാൽ ചിലപ്പോ യജമാനെ കണ്ടിട്ട് മനസ്സിലായില്ലെങ്കിൽ താൻ കുരച്ചത് വേറെന്തോ കാര്യത്തിനാണെന്ന് വിചാരിച്ച് വേറൊരു ആളുടെ നേരെ വരും. നാടകം. അപ്പൊ ആ അളവിൽ ഭാവനയുണ്ട്. ആ അളവിൽ ഭാവനയുണ്ടെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ കളവുണ്ടെന്ന ഭാവനയും കളവും തമ്മിൽ വളരെ കുറച്ച് വ്യത്യാസമുള്ളൂ. കുട്ടികൾ പറയുന്നത് വല്ലതും ഭാവനയാണ്, നമ്മളതിനെ കളവെന്ന് പറയുന്നതേ ഉള്ളൂ. കളവും ഭാവനയും എടുത്തെടുത്ത കാര്യങ്ങളാണ്. അതിന് ഉദാഹരണങ്ങൾ ഈ പല പേപ്പേഴ്സിൽ കാണുന്നുണ്ട്. Then the most striking difference between animal communication is the nature of the human language. The non-human languages are more rigid, stereotyped, and under the control of specific external stimuli and internal motivational states. Without any motivation from inside, we can say something which is communicative, which is meaningful. Monkeys and apes have vocalization of different types. And they are flexible also. They have different parameters. They make use of different acoustic parameters also. Still, they express mostly emotional states. By cries, some primates name their predators. കാരണം എന്താ വെച്ചാൽ വന്നത് ആരാണ്, ലെപ്പേർഡ് ആണോ സ്നേക്ക് ആണോ തിരിച്ചറിയുന്നു വെച്ചാൽ they have names, they have nouns. പ്രോപ്പർ നെയിംസ് ഉണ്ടെന്നാണ് അവരുടെ ഡിക്ഷണറിയിൽ. അതുകൊണ്ടാണല്ലോ പ്രത്യേകം പ്രത്യേകം ശബ്ദം ഉണ്ടാകുന്നത്. പക്ഷേ ഇൻസ്പൈറ്റ് ഓഫ് ദാറ്റ് their dictionary is only rich, their grammar is not.
Their grammar is not as rich as their dictionary.
Yeah. They can name the leopard, they can name the predators. Vocalization for them is mostly by the product of bodily test equal to body lectures, gestures. It is useful to make a distinction between information and communication. And by breaking the glass tumbler, by dropping it on the floor carelessly, uh, I don't communicate anything at all. By breaking the glass tumbler, by dropping it with carelessness, I don't communicate anything at all. But so many information you will get. This action, however, informs you that I was careless. And handling glass, it should be handled carefully. And basically, glass is brittle.
No. The within something you work free of fun.
Yeah, maybe. Some informations are there. So many pieces of information are there. If the breaking the glass tumbler denotes, say for example, the culmination of a ceremony, of a ritual, then this communication, this has information and this means to communicate and it communicates the message. The same thing can be communicatable or just informative. Animal signs are basically informative. In many cases, there is no intention to inform you. It so happens that you are informed. Intention or vivaksha is very, very important. Vivaksha, whether you get the vivaksha or you misinterpret the vivaksha, it's not the question. You have the vivaksha or not. That's the question. You, human language, basically any speech has a vivaksha of its own. Speech is the result of the language. Speech is the product of the language. Language is basically a dictionary as well as grammar, or lexicon as well as the structure. Intention to inform is lying. The lies are communicative. Some animals, like dogs, are capable of this misinformation. A few animals has a communication system very close to language, but still they are not language. The Chomskyan assumption that the structural organization of human brain is specifically adapted to language learning. That is his assumption. We have a structural makeup of brain which is adapted for communication, and there is something stored also even before our birth. Something about the language is already stored. Again, the existence of critical period when the brain is specially tuned to learn language or acquire language is also possible. Nobody has questioned it even now. Animal languages are stored in the brain since they are predominantly biological. But the evolution from the non-grammaticality to grammaticality of the language still remains enigmatic. But the question can now be posed properly. The question can now be posed with sensible, expecting sensible answer. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was really a thought-provoking delivery. Friends, it's time for having discussions. But before that, let us carry out this small but significant act of donating the prestigious cash award in the name of P.S. Subramapattar to the best outgoing PG student of the year. This year, the award goes to Akshara K. I invite I invite Akarsha K to join us on stage to receive the award. I request Professor H.V. Nagaraj Rao sir to present the cash prize to Akarsha. I request K. Neelagandan Elayathu sir to hand over the memento to Akarsha. I invite Akarsha K to share her thoughts on receiving this esteemed award.
വളരെയധികം സന്തോഷം ഈ ഒരു എൻഡോമെന്റിനെ അറിയാൻ സാധിച്ചത്. എന്റെ എല്ലാ ടീച്ചേഴ്സിനും നന്ദി. പിന്നെ വേദിയിലെ വിശിഷ്ട വ്യക്തികളായ നാഗരാജ റാവു സാർ, വേണുഗോപാൽ പണ്ഡിത സാർ, പക്ഷേ എല്ലാവർക്കും നന്ദി. ബാക്കിയുള്ള എല്ലാവർക്കും നന്ദി പറയുന്നു.
Thank you, Akarsha. It's time for discussion. We welcome insightful questions and diverse perspectives from participants.
Yeah, Rahul sir. Yeah, questions was highly communicative and informative and comprehensive also. I got one or two doubts. From where Kuntaka got this? From where? From which source Kuntaka got this way of looking, criticizing, way of constructively criticizing or what do you call it? Evaluating or appreciating a literary piece as a whole. Any criticism? One question. Second question. Why we didn't appropriately invite serious commentary? Why no serious commentary was written on? Somebody says last month a scholar from Kerala, he said that the guy hasn't left anything out without saying he has explained everything. So it is not a Shastra work at all, and it doesn't uh, demand a commentary. That is why no commentary is written on Kuntaka's Opera. Do you agree? Two questions. മറ്റേ സാറോട് എനിക്ക് രണ്ടു മൂന്ന് കാര്യങ്ങൾ വളരെ രസകരമായിരുന്നു. പ്രസന്റേഷൻ വളരെ വലുതായിരുന്നു. രണ്ടു മൂന്ന് കാര്യങ്ങൾ. ഒന്ന്, എവല്യൂഷൻ ഓഫ് ഹ്യൂമൻ ലാംഗ്വേജ് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ മൃഗഭാഷയിൽ നിന്നും മനുഷ്യഭാഷയിലേക്ക് ഒന്ന് ചേഞ്ച് ഫോർ ദ ബെറ്റർ ആണോ? എല്ലാ തരത്തിലും അങ്ങനെയാണോ എന്നുള്ളത് പുതിയൊരു ചോദ്യം അല്ല എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. ആ ചോദ്യം എന്റെ മനസ്സിൽ നിൽക്കുമ്പോൾ ആഫ്റ്റർ പ്രസന്റേഷനുള്ള പല ഭാഗത്തും അല്ലാന്ന് പറയുന്നതും ആണെന്ന് പറയുന്നതും ഉള്ള ചില സൂചനകളും നിരീക്ഷണങ്ങളും ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. പക്ഷെ ഈ എവല്യൂഷൻ എന്ന നിലയ്ക്ക് വളരെ സ്ലോ ആയിട്ട് ഈ ഹ്യൂമൻ ലാംഗ്വേജ് മനുഷ്യഭാഷയിൽ കുറച്ചുകൂടി പക്വതയുള്ളൂ, കുറച്ചുകൂടി പൂർണ്ണമായത് എന്നൊക്കെ പറയാൻ പറ്റുമോ? കാരണം മനുഷ്യഭാഷയെക്കാളും വളരെ ശക്തമായിട്ട് സുന്ദരമായിട്ട് വികാരങ്ങൾ മാത്രമല്ല ഇൻഫർമേഷനെ പോലും കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ കെൽപ്പുള്ള മൃഗഭാഷകൾ ഇന്ത്യയിൽ. നമുക്ക് Human language is richer than any other English language or animal language എന്ന് ഖണ്ഡിതമായിട്ട് പറയാൻ പറ്റുമോ? വലിയ സംശയമാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഈ എവല്യൂഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് തന്നെ ചേഞ്ച് ഫോർ ദ ബെറ്റർ എന്നുള്ളത് എത്ര കണ്ട് നമ്മൾ ഈ ഒരു കോണ്ടെക്സ്റ്റിൽ പറയുന്നത് ശരിയാവും എന്നുള്ളൊരു ചോദ്യമാണ്. ആശയങ്ങൾ മനസ്സിലുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. പക്ഷെ ഇപ്പോൾ തൽക്കാലം ഞാൻ ഇവിടെ നിർത്തുന്നു. അവർ ചോദിക്കുമ്പോൾ സർ നാഗരാജ് സർ.
Probably Anandavardhana had shown the way, and it was required at that time in the courts of Kashmir. These things were being discussed, and therefore these ideas might have cropped up there that a whole work should be seen, and this was not actually completely new, because the bhavikatva, this alankara called bhavikatva, this bhavikatva takes the whole work as a piece of art, and thus this bhavikatva idea was there, and taking a cue from that, he made it practical. The idea was there in the alankara called bhavikatva. How? Yes, we know. That was the idea was there, that what bhava a whole work tries to give to the people, what rasa does the poet wants to delineate. On this point only, not on any particular stanza, not on any particular sentence, this was concentrated, but looking at the whole work and what bhava it was expressing. This idea was there, and this theory was put into practice by Kuntaka. And therefore, the idea was there, it was available, and then fortunately, he made these comments, and therefore, in a whole work, in a whole prakarana, what we should understand, we should not concentrate only on the specialities of a particular shloka or a word. This was his idea. That appears to be the answer for the first question. The second question concerns?
Why did in any comment?
See, many of the works go into oblivion, we do not know what the reason is there. See, Dandin's work has so many commentaries. Dandin's Kavyadarsha has a number of commentaries, but Bhamaha's work, until the recent days, some commentaries were written, but before that, it is said that Buddhata had written one Bhamaha Vivarana, which is not available to us. But Bhamaha's work did not receive any commentary at all, even though it was earlier than Dandin's work, and it has so many new ideas. It is contained in Bhamaha's work, and he was very bold also. Even looking at our today's subject, Bhamaha said, "Jaladhrum Maratendavaha," making the cloud or the wind or the moon as the messenger, etc. All this is irrational, like that, illogical, irrational, like that. He had already made these commentaries, and therefore Bhamaha has so much of material, but there are no commentaries on that. Probably the work did not get so much reception in the society. For whatever reason, I do not know. And the other point is also true about this Vakroti Jivita as we have it is itself a commentary on the Karikas he has written. First, here this Kuntaka has written the Karikas, and on those Karikas, a very nice commentary and all comprehensive commentary he has written, and that itself is a commentary like thing, and so is it necessary to write? That might be the idea.
Somebody says that such a work is not a shastra at all.
Yeah, that there is. You see, these things are commentary available. Even Dhanyaloka, even Anandavardhana was called a Panditam Manya. Jayanta Bhatta's Nyayamanjari, in that Yamanya Panditam Manya, he refers to Anandavardhana as a Panditam Manya, not as a Pandita. Panditam Atmanam Manyate, Vastutaha na Pandita. So, like that for many scholars, these things are there. And about Kuntaka himself, what does Mahima Bhatta say? You know, so Sahidev Manyehi Kaishita Evam Kachitam. Even to Abhinava Gupta, he is using those words. And therefore, especially in the field of Alankara Shastra, there was total independence. In the case of Vedanta, if you are Advaitin, you cannot talk against Shankara. See, you have accepted to be an Advaitin. Such a rule is not there in Alankar Shastra. In Alankar Shastra, everyone is independent to criticize any author. And therefore, these criticisms for the even so-called great authors, it is found everywhere. And therefore, uh, uh, they have to accept that even this Kuntaka, he has very good ideas, and they have to, especially in the modern days, the correct criticism actually we learned from the Westerners. Is the Western criticism. Kuntaka also had done this thing, I remember, 1,000 years ago. However, this new type of criticism we have learned from the Westerners. That is my opinion. You may criticize it again. But of course, the professor raised questions. I would like to know what I was not speaking to him, only keeping you, the students, as my targets. I was speaking. And so, from the students, what do they think about these ideas about Kalidasa from Kuntala, from Kuntaka? Yeah, and that point is there. Some of the manuscripts refer to Kuntaka as Kuntalaka. In some manuscript it is there, but most of the writers, ancient writers, have referred to him as Kuntaka only. Kuntakena Nija Kavya Lakshmani, like that. So, if you have any
They will come forward.
questions,
They will come forward, sir.
yeah, please.
Definitely. അഭിപ്രായങ്ങളും സംശയങ്ങളും ഏത് ഭാഷയിൽ വേണമെങ്കിലും പറയാം. അവിടെ നിന്ന് പറയാം, ഇവിടെ നിന്ന് പറയണമെങ്കിൽ പറയാം. എല്ലാത്തിനും സ്വാതന്ത്ര്യമുണ്ട്. സാറും അതാണ് ആഗ്രഹിക്കുന്നത്. സാറ് പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ, കുട്ടികളുടെ പ്രതികരണം കേൾക്കാനാണ് ആഗ്രഹം. പണിക്കർ സാർ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞ കാര്യത്തിൽ ഒരുപാട്
എവല്യൂഷൻ ഈസ് ചേഞ്ചിങ് ഫോർ ദ ബെറ്റർ എന്നുള്ള അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു മീനിങ്ങേ ഉള്ളൂ. പക്ഷേ ഇപ്പോൾ എവല്യൂഷൻ ഓഫ് പ്ലോട്ട് ഇസ് ജസ്റ്റ് അൺറാവലിംഗ്, അത്രയല്ലേ ഉള്ളൂ. ആദ്യം അത് വികസിച്ചു വരുന്നു, ആ അർത്ഥത്തിൽ വികസിക്കലാണ്. ഡെവലപ്മെന്റ് ഓഫ് ദ പ്ലോട്ട്, നോട്ട് ചേഞ്ചിങ് ഫോർ ദ ബെറ്റർ. മെനി ഹ്യൂമൻ അനിമൽ ലാംഗ്വേജസ് വളരെ എഫിഷ്യൻ്റ് ആണെന്നുള്ള കാര്യം സംശയമില്ല. പക്ഷെ ബേസിക് ഡിഫറൻസ് ഉണ്ട് എന്നുള്ളതാണ് കാര്യം. ഹ്യൂമൻ കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷനും അനിമൽ കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷനും. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത് ഹ്യൂമൻ കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷന്റെ ഏറ്റവും പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട ലക്ഷണം ഗ്രാമർ ഉണ്ട് എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അതിന് ഗ്രാമറില്ല. എത്ര റിച്ച് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഡിക്ഷണറി ആണെങ്കിലും ഗ്രാമർ ഈ അളവിലില്ല. ചെറിയ തരത്തിൽ ചില ചേരുവകളൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടെന്ന് പറയും. അതാണ് കാര്യം.
അല്ല, ഇപ്പൊ ഞാൻ വേറൊരു കാര്യം ചോദിക്കുന്നത്, മൃഗഭാഷയിൽ നിന്ന് ഈ മനുഷ്യഭാഷയിൽ വരുമ്പോൾ അന്തരാൾ അരട്ടത്തിലുള്ള വല്ല ഭാഷ ഗ്രാമർ ഉണ്ടെന്ന്
അല്ല,
പറയാൻ
അതല്ലോ എത്രയൊക്കെ സ്റ്റഡീസ് എല്ലാ തരത്തിൽ നടന്നിട്ടുണ്ടെന്ന് എനിക്ക് അറിഞ്ഞൂടാ. ഇപ്പോ ഞാൻ നോക്കി റെഫർ ചെയ്തൊരു പേപ്പറിൽ തന്നെ 100 റെഫറൻസ് ഉണ്ട്. അത് ഞാൻ പ്രധാനമായിട്ടും VS രാമചന്ദ്രന്റെയും അതേമാതിരി ലിബർമാനുള്ള പേപ്പറാണ് നോക്കിയത്. കൂടാതെ ന്യൂ ഹൊറൈസൺസ് ഇൻ ലിംഗ്വിസ്റ്റിക്സ് എന്ന തീരെ ന്യൂ അല്ലാത്ത 50 പഴക്കമുള്ള ഒരു പുസ്തകമാണ് ഞാൻ ആദ്യം ഈ വിഷയത്തിൽ വായിച്ചത്. അതുകൂടാതെ രാമേന്ദ്രന്റെയും ഇതിലൊക്കെ അതിൽ എത്രയോ റെഫറൻസ് ഉണ്ട്. രാമേന്ദ്രൻ അത് സമ്മറൈസ് ചെയ്ത് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുള്ളതുകൊണ്ട് വിശ്വസിക്കാമെന്നുള്ളത് എനിക്ക് എടുത്തിരിക്കുകയാണ്. അല്ലാതെ അപ്പുറത്തേക്ക് പോകാൻ വേണ്ടത്ര ആ വിഷയത്തിൽ ഉണ്ട് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഇത് ഹൈലി ടെക്നിക്കൽ and I may be able to complete it or develop it at a later stage. The paper itself is open to evolution. Changing for the better.
And some people, some there is some kind of Vayitriya is there because according to the Surmaya Manga, if something is described as such, there is some Vayitriya, there is some beauty. And when you account for that, there is some illumination is required on that point.
So first of all, pardon my grammatical errors. Sir, evolution of human language. ഇപ്പം നമുക്ക് ഈ കേൾവി ശേഷിക്ക് പരിമിതമുള്ളവരും അതുപോലെ സംസാരിക്കാൻ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുള്ളവരും ഒക്കെ കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ, എസ്പെഷ്യലി ജസ്റ്റേഴ്സ് യൂസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടൊക്കെ. അപ്പൊ അതിൽ പണ്ട് കാലം മുതൽ ഇന്ന് വരെ ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ കാണുന്നുണ്ട് ന്യൂസ് ചാനൽസിലൊക്കെ ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു സൈഡിൽ അവര് ജസ്റ്റേഴ്സ് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ. അപ്പൊ അതിനെന്തെങ്കിലും എവല്യൂഷൻസ് ഉണ്ട്? അതോ പ്രാരംഭകാലം മുതലേ വന്നിട്ടുള്ള ഫിംഗർ വെച്ചിട്ടുള്ള സംഭവങ്ങൾ തന്നെയാണോ എന്നറിയാം.
ശരിയായ മനുഷ്യഭാഷയിൽ നിന്നും ഉണ്ടായതാണോ?
ഉണ്ടായതാണ്. ശരിയായ മനുഷ്യഭാഷയിൽ ഉണ്ടായതാണ്, ഉണ്ടാക്കിയെടുത്തതാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ട് language is based on already available intelligence. Whether they are structured, whether they are rich enough or not is another question. ഉദാഹരണമായിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ കഥകളിയിലെ മുദ്രകൾ മലയാളമോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സംസ്കൃതമോ പോലെ സമ്പുഷ്ടമല്ല, എല്ലാ വിഭക്തികളും കാണിക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. പക്ഷേ ഭാവത്തിന് പ്രാധാന്യം കൊടുക്കാൻ സാധിക്കുന്നു. ആൾക്കാർ അഭിനയിക്കുന്നത് സംസ്കൃത നാടകമാണ് അഭിനയിക്കുന്നതെങ്കിൽ അതിന് മുദ്രകളുടെ ക്രമം ഏതാണ് മലയാളത്തിലെ ക്രമത്തിലാണ്. മലയാളമാണ് അഭിനയിക്കുന്നത്, മലയാള സംസ്കൃതമാണ്, മലയാള സംസ്കൃതമല്ല.
മറ്റ് ഓരോരോ ഭാഷകളിലുള്ള ആളുകൾ തമ്മിലുള്ള
ആലോചിക്കേണ്ടതാണ്. അതിന്റെ വിഷയമാണ്.
ശരി, അത് നല്ലൊരു പ്രശ്നം. അതായത് വ്യത്യസ്ത ഭാഷകളുള്ള
അതെ അതെ അതെ.
വ്യത്യസ്തമാണോ?
കാരണം എന്താ വെച്ചാല് ഭാഷ ഉദാഹരണമായിട്ട് 121 എഴുതുമ്പോ 1, 2, 1 മുതൽ 9 വരെയുള്ള ചിഹ്നങ്ങൾക്ക് നമ്മളൊരു ഗ്രാമർ ആട്രിബ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യും. ആ ഗ്രാമർ ആട്രിബ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ഗ്രാമർ ആട്രിബ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ അതിനെ 121 എന്ന് വായിച്ച് മനസ്സിലാക്കുന്നത്. അതായത് അക്കങ്ങൾക്ക് നമ്മൾ നമ്മുടെ രീതിയിൽ ഒരു വ്യാകരണം സങ്കല്പിക്കുന്നു. ആ വ്യാകരണം പലപ്പോഴും കട്ടിങ് അക്രോസ് ലാംഗ്വേജ് ബാരിയേഴ്സ് ആണ്. കാരണം 123 എന്ന് വായിക്കുന്ന അതേമാതിരി തന്നെ അതേ ആശയം നമുക്ക് 1, 2, 3 എഴുതിയിട്ട് 123 കൊണ്ട് കിട്ടും. അത് കാരണം എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഇപ്പോഴുള്ള നമ്മുടെ എല്ലാ അക്കങ്ങളും 10നെ അടിസ്ഥാനപ്പെടുത്തിയ ഒരു വ്യാകരണം സൃഷ്ടിച്ചിരിക്കുക. അതാണ് ദശാംശഗണനം എന്ന വ്യാകരണം. അത് വ്യാകരണമാണ്. അതായത് അക്കങ്ങൾക്ക് നമ്മളൊരു വ്യാകരണം ആട്രിബ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുക. നിയമം നമ്മുടെ തന്നെ ഇന്ത്യൻ ഒരുപക്ഷെ ഒരു പാൻ ഇന്ത്യൻ ഗ്രാമറാണ് ആദ്യം ആട്രിബ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്തത്. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ദശാംശഘടന ഇന്ത്യയിൽ വന്നു എന്ന് പറയുന്നതിന് കാരണം. നേരെ മറിച്ച് എഴുതുന്ന രീതി ആലോചിച്ച് നോക്കൂ. ലാറ്റിൻ എഴുതുന്ന രീതിയാണെങ്കിൽ 1 വിരല് 2 വിരല് 3 വിരല് 5 വിരലിൽ നിന്ന് 1 കുറവ് എന്നാണ് എഴുതുന്നത് അല്ലേ? 10 എന്നുള്ളത് രണ്ട് കൈ വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്, 2 വലത്തെ കൈ ചേർത്ത് വെച്ചിരിക്കുക 10 എന്നുള്ളിടത്ത്. പിന്നെ അത് സ്റ്റൈലൈസ് ചെയ്ത് ലളിതമാക്കി എടുത്തു എന്നേ ഉള്ളൂ. 11 എന്നുള്ളത് 2 വലത്തെ കൈ ചേർത്ത് വയലും താഴെയായിട്ട് വെച്ചതിന് ശേഷം 1 വിരലും കൂടി ചേർത്തിരിക്കുക എന്നാണ്. ഈ രീതിയിൽ നിന്ന് വളരെ സമ്പുഷ്ടമാകുമ്പോഴുള്ള സ്ഥിതി എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ അത് വളരെ കൃത്രിമമാകും, സ്വാഭാവികതയിൽ നിന്ന് അകന്നു പോകും. അതാണ് ചിത്രലിപിയും. അതെ, ചിത്രലിപിയിൽ പലപ്പോഴും നമ്മൾ എഴുതുന്നത് ആ വാക്കുകളാണ്. 1, 2, 3 എന്നുള്ളിടത്ത് നമ്മൾ എഴുതുന്ന വാക്കാണ്. ആ വാക്കിന് ഒരു ലെവലും കൂടി വ്യാകരണം കൊടുത്തിട്ടാണ് 123 എന്ന് കിട്ടുന്നത്. അവിടെയൊക്കെ നമ്മുടെ മനുഷ്യ ഭാഷയുടെ വ്യാകരണം പോലെ ഒരു വ്യാകരണം അക്കങ്ങൾക്കും ഉണ്ടാക്കിയെടുത്തിരിക്കുക. അക്കങ്ങൾ എന്നുള്ളത് തന്നെയും ഒരു ലെവൽ അബ്സ്ട്രാക്ഷനാണ്. എന്താ വെച്ചാല് വസ്തുക്കളെ ലോകത്തുള്ളൂ. ഒരു ചക്കയും 1 മാങ്ങയും 1 പുസ്തകവും 1 പേശ ഒക്കെ ഉള്ളൂ. നമ്മൾ അതിൽ 1 എന്നൊരു സംഗതി ആട്രിബ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യാണ്. അക്കങ്ങളൊക്കെ തന്നെ സംഖ്യാനം ചെയ്യാവുന്നതായ വസ്തുക്കളെ സംഖ്യാനം ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ഉപാധിയെയാണല്ലോ നാം സംഖ്യ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് എന്നാണ് ഈ കൺസ്ട്രക്റ്റും അബ്സ്ട്രാക്റ്റുമാണ് എന്ന് നമ്മുടെ ഇതിൽ ഗണിത ഭാഷയിലുണ്ട്. സംഖ്യേയങ്ങളായ വസ്തുക്കളെ, അത് എണ്ണാവുന്ന വസ്തുക്കളെ സംഖ്യാനം ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ഏർപ്പാട് മാത്രമാണ് സംഖ്യ എന്ന്. ഈ അക്കങ്ങളിലും എഴുതുന്നതിലുമൊക്കെ ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു കൃത്രിമത്വം ഉണ്ടെന്നോ ആ ലെവലിൽ അതിലൊരു അബ്സ്ട്രാക്ഷൻ ഉണ്ടെന്നോ നമ്മൾ ആലോചിക്കാറില്ല. അത്ര സ്വാഭാവികമായി നമുക്ക് കിട്ടുന്നതുകൊണ്ട്. പക്ഷെ അതിന് ഒരു തരം എന്താ പറയണ്ടേ, ലാംഗ്വേജിന്റെ ഒരു ഫീച്ചർ, മനുഷ്യഭാഷയുടെ ഒരു സ്വഭാവം മോഡേൺ ലിംഗ്വിസ്റ്റിക്സിൽ എന്താണ് ഹാക്കറ്റിന്റെ പുസ്തകത്തിൽ തന്നെ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു സംഗതി എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ അത് ആർബിട്രറി ആണ് എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അതിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം എന്നുള്ളത് പ്രാകൃതികമല്ല, നമ്മുടെ സങ്കല്പത്തിലുള്ളതാണ്. ഭാഷയിലെ അർത്ഥം എന്നുള്ളത് വാസ്തവത്തിൽ ലോകത്തുള്ള സംഗതിയല്ല. മരം എന്നുള്ളതിന് ഒരു അർത്ഥമുണ്ട് നമ്മൾ വിചാരിക്കും. മരം എന്നുള്ളത് ഓരോരോ വ്യത്യസ്ത മരങ്ങളേ ഉള്ളൂ. അതിന് സാമാന്യവൽക്കരിച്ച് നമ്മൾ പേര് കൊടുക്കുക മരം എന്നല്ല നമ്മൾ പേര് കൊടുക്കാൻ പോകുന്നത്. എല്ലാ പ്ലാന്റ്സിനും കൂടി ഒരു പേരാണ് നമ്മൾ കൊടുക്കുന്നതെങ്കിൽ അതിന് സസ്യം എന്ന ഒറ്റ പേര് കൊടുക്കണം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഏതെങ്കിലും തരത്തിൽ. അതാണ് സസ്യലോകം ജന്തുലോകം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ഇതൊക്കെ പല ലെവൽസ് ഓഫ് അബ്സ്ട്രാക്ഷനാണ്. ഈ ലെവൽസ് ഓഫ് അബ്സ്ട്രാക്ഷൻ എന്നുള്ളത് എല്ലാ കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷനിലും ഉണ്ട്, ഹ്യൂമൻ കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷനിൽ കൂടുതലുണ്ട്. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് പദാർത്ഥം, വാക്കിന്റെ അർത്ഥം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ശബ്ദത്തിന്റെ അർത്ഥം, അതല്ലെങ്കിൽ പ്രകൃതികളുടെ പ്രത്യയങ്ങളുടെ അർത്ഥം എന്നുള്ളത് ആർബിട്രറി ആണെന്ന് പറയാൻ കാരണം. ഈ ആർബിട്രറിനെസ് എന്നുള്ളത് വൺ ഓഫ് ദ ഫീച്ചേഴ്സ് ഓഫ് ഹ്യൂമൻ ലാംഗ്വേജ്. ആർബിട്രറിനെസ് പക്ഷെ എല്ലാ സിസ്റ്റം ഓഫ് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷനിലും ഉണ്ട്. കാരണം അവിടെ ദൂരെ നിൽക്കുന്നത് ലെപ്പേർഡ് ആണെന്നുള്ളതിന് പ്രത്യേക കാളാണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ലെപ്പേർഡിന്റെ ഒരു ഫീച്ചറും ആ കാളിനില്ല. ആ പ്രത്യേക തരത്തിലൊരു കാൾ കൊടുത്താൽ ലെപ്പേർഡ് ആണെന്ന് മനസ്സിലാക്കും എന്നേ അർത്ഥമുള്ളൂ. ഉണ്ടാവും പല ജസ്റ്റേഴ്സ് എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ വിഷ്വൽ സിമ്പിൾസ് എന്നല്ലേ അർത്ഥം. വിഷ്വൽ സിമ്പിൾസ് എല്ലാം പഞ്ചേന്ദ്രിയങ്ങളിൽ ഏതും ഉപയോഗിക്കാമല്ലോ. അതെ, പഞ്ചേന്ദ്രിയങ്ങളിൽ ഏതിനെയും നമുക്ക് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷനായിട്ട് ഉപയോഗിക്കാമല്ലോ. പറഞ്ഞു കേട്ടിട്ട് മനസ്സിലാവാത്തതുകൊണ്ടാണ് വായു കെട്ടിയിട്ട് കൈകൊണ്ട് അഭിനയിക്കുന്നത് കഥകളിക്കാര്. ഇത്രയേറെ സംസാരിക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്ന വായ മിണ്ടാണ്ടാക്കി വെച്ചിട്ട് ഒരു കൈകൊണ്ടാണ് വേഷം കാണിക്കുന്നത് എന്ന് വേണമെങ്കിൽ അനുവദിക്കാറുണ്ടല്ലോ ഒരു കാലത്ത് കഥകളെ പറ്റിയിട്ട്. പക്ഷെ കൈകൊണ്ട് കാണിക്കുന്നതും ഇതും തമ്മിൽ വ്യത്യാസമുണ്ട്. സാധാരണ കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ അല്ല, ഒരു തരം സ്പെഷ്യലൈസ്ഡ് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷനാണ്, വിശേഷമായ വ്യവഹാരമാണ്. ഭാഷയുടെ തന്നെ ഒരു വിശേഷമായ വ്യവഹാരമാണ് എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. നിർമ്മിതികളൊക്കെ വിശേഷ വ്യവഹാരങ്ങളാണ്. നമ്മൾ ഭാഷ എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ പ്രധാനമായും സാമാന്യ വ്യവഹാരത്തെയാണ് ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് അഭിധാർത്ഥത്തിനാണ് നിഘണ്ടുവിൽ പ്രാധാന്യം. ലാക്ഷണികാർത്ഥവും ചിലപ്പോൾ സൂചിപ്പിച്ചേക്കാം എന്നേ ഉള്ളൂ. ലാക്ഷണികാർത്ഥ അഭിധയിലേക്ക് ഇങ്ങനെ വന്ന് 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 അഭിധേയത്തിലേക്ക് അടിഞ്ഞേക്കും, അടി വീഴും. അപ്പോഴേ നിഘണ്ടുവിൻ്റെ വിഷയമാവുള്ളൂ. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ലാക്ഷണികാർത്ഥമാണ് നിഘണ്ടു. നിഘണ്ടുവിലുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളല്ല എൻ്റെ കവിതയിലുള്ളത്. നിഘണ്ടു കൊണ്ട് എൻ്റെ കവിത വായിക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല, നിഘണ്ടു കൊണ്ട് ഒരു കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ സാധ്യമല്ല, ഭാഷ സാധ്യമല്ല. നിഘണ്ടു അതിൻ്റെ സൂചകങ്ങൾ മാത്രമാണ്. ഇതൊക്കെ നമ്മുടെ വിശേഷിച്ച് മലയാള സാഹിത്യകാരന്മാര് ഇവിടെ റൊമാൻറ്റിസിസം എന്നുള്ളത് തലതിരിഞ്ഞു പോയ സമയത്ത് ധാരാളം വിഡ്ഢിത്തങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞിരുന്ന കൂട്ടത്തിലാണ് നിഘണ്ടുവിനെതിരായി, വ്യാകരണത്തിനെതിരായി ഒക്കെ യുദ്ധം പ്രഖ്യാപിച്ചിരുന്നത്. അത് അവരെ കാര്യം മനസ്സിലാക്കാതെയാണ്. അവരും ഇതൊക്കെ തന്നെ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്.
Personal question, that is, can you share how can you be so charismatic and innocent at the same time?
Can you be
So
charismatic?
and innocent at the same time.
Charismatic and innocent.
Oh.
A personal question.
I am not aware that I am charismatic.
Not even
No. My main strength is fluency in Sanskrit. You might be knowing that we are running a newspaper, Sudharma, in Sanskrit. We are running a newspaper, daily Sanskrit newspaper. And therefore, we will have to contact so many people, different people. And so in my speech, you may think that this man is acting on a drama, in a drama on the stage. Probably it is also because I have not seen my father. My father passed away when I was very young. But my mother used to tell me that my father was a drama actor. And therefore, even when I am making lectures or speaking lectures, many people think that you are more acting than speaking.
Just the language.
That might be the case.
So you have mentioned about Kumara Sambhavam, Vamsha, and Meghdudam also you have mentioned. I need to know about whether
Yeah. See, this is a very good question. And actually, in my paper, I have written, of the 7 works of Kalidasa, Kuntaka has concentrated only on 5. Yes, he has omitted completely Malvikagnimitra and Rutu Samhara. He has not taken any stanza from either Malvikagnimitra or Rutu Samhara. From the Vikramorvashi also, he has given a very good criticism. I did not have time to speak about that. Or even about about Abhignana Shakuntala, the comments he has made are very, very valuable. they are very good. Not only this Kuntaka, even all the Alankarikas of our country, later Alankarikas, they have completely ignored Rutusamhara. The shlokas from Rutusamhara have not been taken as examples either for doshas or gunas or alankaras by any later Alankarika. Maybe this Rutusamhara was not considered as a work of the real Kalidasa. About that also, there is dispute among many scholars. That is one point. The Malvikagnimitra probably was the first creation of Kalidasa, and there was no so much maturity in that. Kalidasa mainly concentrated on Vipralambha Sringara. Vipralambha Sringara is more attractive than the Sanyoga Sringara, and in the Malvikagnimitra such a situation is not there. But in the other, all the in the two dramas and the two Mahakavyas and Meghaduta, we have that, and therefore he has concentrated on them, it seems. Thank you. Yeah, from Meghaduta he has taken six stanzas, and from Raghuvamsha many. But also yes. Of course, only up to the eighth Sarda. Afterwards, it is available. But no Alankarika has taken any stanza of Kumar Sandhya after this.
ഇനി ആർക്കെങ്കിലും ചോദ്യം ചോദിക്കാനുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ പെട്ടെന്ന് വന്ന് ചോദിക്കാം. അഭിപ്രായങ്ങളും പറയാവുന്നതാണ്.
If you have completely understood Siddhanta, then there will be no questions. If you have completely not understood the thoughts, then also there will be no questions. ज्ञाते संशयो वर्तते, अज्ञाते सर्वथा.
For closing remarks, I invite Dr. K.K. Geetagumari, teacher, a faculty member, Department of Sanskrit.
Respected Dr. Rachi, Nagaraja Rasa, Professor K. Sir, G. Venugopal sir, Sundaresh sir, Majid sir, dear friends. I feel privileged to be here with all of you to propose vote of thanks. I firmly believe that today we are too lucky to what an opportunity to listen such a wonderful talks. Two talks today we have. Actually, nowadays we know that the theory of Vakrokti is getting more importance because the advent of the theories of the determination of Vokrovsky and the scientific theories all the content of the ideas of Bhakti Kundaga is taken, and nowadays that is very great subject to study, because the deviation of the actual usage of words, the familiarization like that, and the foregrounding of the terms to get a particular meaning which intended by the poet. Like so many theories are now coming, and the importance of Bhakti is getting more importance nowadays. And today we got opportunity to listen a wonderful talk, very inspiring talk, and very thought-provoking talk, which help us to deconstruct our thoughts and our conception about the Bhakti. So, on the behalf of the Department of Sanskrit, University of Calicut, I am extending sincere gratitude to Professor Nagaraj Rao sir for his wonderful rendering on the Krishna Pandya sir. And our Bandhava Janaka. Always, when Venugopal Pandit sir was very, one of the part of our department, and always very lovable and very inspiring person, and he was always studying. Now also, when a new theory is coming, he definitely will study that, and he will forward that to the students. When Chomsky theory was came at that time, Sir Venugopal Panikar sir published one book on Chomsky theory, which was very helpful to read, very helpful to the student community. So today also his talk on the evolution of language was very wonderful and very thought-provoking, very helpful to the students to know more about the evolution of the language. On the behalf of the Department of Sanskrit, I am extending sincere gratitude to Venugopal Panikar sir, and I am thankful to our beloved teacher, Elayathu sir, because he come over here from Trivandrum to his family, Sanskrit family, and today he inaugurated the program. And on behalf of the Department of Sanskrit, I am extending sincere gratitude to Elayathu sir, and I am thankful to our HOD. And today he chaired the session, and Professor N.K. Sundaresan sir was proposed the wonderful welcome speech, and I thanking all of them and my students, and Akarsha is today with his family to receive the award, and I am thanking all the members, teaching members, and my teaching faculty, and my friends who assembled here and made this program very wonderful and very successful, and I am thanking all of you once again. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
നാളത്തെ പരിപാടി ടീച്ചർ പറഞ്ഞു പ്രിയമുള്ളവരെ, ഇന്ന് 2 സെഷൻസ് നമുക്ക് കഴിഞ്ഞു. ഇനിയിപ്പോ നാളെ വലിയൊരു സെഷൻ, നീണ്ടു നിൽക്കുന്ന സെഷൻ ഉണ്ട്. അടുത്ത എൻഡോമെന്റ് ആണ്, ഉളിത്തിരിമാരുടെ പേരുള്ള എൻഡോമെന്റ്. അതേപറ്റി പലർക്കും ചാർജ് കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. ചാർജ് കൊടുത്ത അതിലെ പ്രധാനികള് ഒന്ന് ഇവിടെ കൂടി ചേരേണ്ടതാണ്. ഹലോ, കേൾക്കുന്നില്ലേ? ചാർജ് കൊടുത്ത ആൾക്കാരെ ഇവിടെ കൂടുക, എന്തൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യണം എന്നുള്ളൊരു ആലോചന നടത്തണം. അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് എങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ അത് ഇപ്പൊ രജിസ്ട്രേഷൻ ചാർജ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്, അതുപോലെ ഫുഡ് കമ്മിറ്റി ഉണ്ട്, പിന്നെ പല കമ്മിറ്റീസ് ഇല്ലേ, രജിസ്ട്രേഷൻ സ്റ്റേജ് കമ്മിറ്റി. ഇതിലെ പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട ആൾക്കാർ വേറെ മീറ്റിംഗ് കൂടിയിട്ട് നമുക്ക് എന്തൊക്കെ ചെയ്യണം എന്നുള്ളൊരു ആലോചന ഇന്ന് ഉച്ചയ്ക്ക് ശേഷം നടത്തും. അപ്പം നാളെ 10 മണിക്ക് തന്നെ നമ്മുടെ പ്രോഗ്രാം സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യും. ഇന്നത്തെ പോലെ ആവരുത്. PC 10 മണിക്ക് വരും. 10 മണിക്ക് വരുന്നത് മാത്രമല്ല, 10:15 അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ഇവിടുന്ന് പോകണം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതുകൊണ്ട് കൃത്യം 9:45 എല്ലാവരും എത്തിയിരിക്കണം. ചാർജ് തന്ന ആൾക്കാരൊക്കെ തന്നെ കൃത്യമായി അതാത് ചാർജ് നിർവഹിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും നമുക്ക് ഈ ഒരു പ്രോഗ്രാം വൻ സക്സസ് ആക്കി മാറ്റാൻ പറ്റും. കൂടുതൽ കാര്യങ്ങൾ കൂടെ പറയാൻ വേണ്ടി ഗീത ടീച്ചറോട് അഭ്യർത്ഥിക്കുന്നു.
വെറുതെ മജീദ് തന്നെ പഠിപ്പിക്കുന്നതാണ്. നാളെ 10 മണിക്ക് എനിക്ക് ഒരൊറ്റ കാര്യം പറയാനുള്ളൂ. കാരണം മ്യൂസിക് നാളെ ഒഴിവുണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല, നമ്മുടെ പരിപാടി ആയതുകൊണ്ട് മാത്രമാണ് സാർ വരുന്നത്. 10:30 സാറിന് വേറൊരു പരിപാടിക്ക് എത്തേണ്ടതുണ്ട്, കുറച്ച് ദൂരത്തേക്ക് എത്തേണ്ടതാണ്. എന്നിട്ട് നമ്മളെ പരിപാടിക്ക് 10 മണിക്ക് വരുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ 10:15 സാറിന് വിട്ടുകൊടുക്കാം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടാണ് സാർ വരുന്നത്. എല്ലാവരും എനിക്ക് ഒരൊറ്റ റിക്വസ്റ്റ് ഉള്ളൂ, ബാക്കിയൊക്കെ അതിന്റെ വഴിക്ക് നടന്നു പോയിക്കോളും. ബിക്കോസ് ഐ am believing all of you that you can do wonderful job with the program. എനിക്ക് അതിലൊന്നും നിങ്ങളെ കുറിച്ച് എനിക്ക് സംശയമില്ല. അതൊക്കെ നിങ്ങൾ ഒരു ഒഴുക്കിന് ചെയ്തോളൂ. പക്ഷെ 10 മണിക്ക് ഇവിടെ എത്തണം എന്നുള്ളത് വളരെ നിർബന്ധമാണ്. ഓക്കെ, താങ്ക് യു.